Things, anything? Nah, I don't need no drink. If anything, energy drink.
You want to sip the last little bit of coffee out of here?
No.
Also,
no coffee.
try not to.
I know, I always do that.
Yeah, because you don't have the headphones on.
Should I put headphones on today? Let me try.
Try it out.
You never wear headphones?
Never.
Damn, I was about to think, do I wear headphones?
Oh, this makes much a difference.
It's
too.
amazing, right?
Yeah,
it's orgasmic.
I actually like it.
Yeah, because you get to. It's like every time you say something, it makes this loud rumble in your ears. So it's like you're pleasuring yourself by speaking.
And it's like I'm in the booth.
It's like the booth.
You know what I'm saying?
It's real boothy.
Yeah.
Real boothy.
I like this. Where's the levels at? Right
It's
here?
real boothy. I've never heard that used before.
Oh yeah, this is, yeah.
You enjoying yourself?
I kind of like the headphones now. I never did this.
That's hard. Hey, I just want to throw this out there before we get into things.
Josh just did this.
We got Chuck English with us, so it's pretty legendary.
Yeah, man. Adam been telling me he been wanting to fuck with you for a while. And I was like, Chuck is dope. I said, I think he fucks with me. We follow each other on Twitter and shit.
We follow each other, and then I ain't never ran into you, so I never knew that. But everybody be like, oh yeah, you look like AD.
People say that to you?
Yeah, when it was just beard and I had
As soon as he walked in, I said, you look like BH. Like I literally thought it was BH walking in for a second.
Oh, Nip homie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Boss Hog. Shout out Boss Hog. Good guy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was him. And then he goes, everybody fucking says that to me. But then he just says AD. I mean, you guys don't really.
No, it's the beard, man. People, like, we the same skin tone with a beard. And then if you take everybody's facial recognition, like, mishaps, because people always say somebody look like a motherfucker they don't look like. But I seen it because we the same tone and we got beards and not too many niggas.
But it's kind of crazy how you could
You
have
would think that you would be more of us, but it's really not, bro.
You could have two people who are so similar face-wise, but then are completely different height or fat, whatever. But a lot of times that doesn't come through on the internet. So that's why when you meet someone in real life, you always be like, I never knew this guy was going to be so short or tall, you know?
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
Nobody thinks you're going to be 6'3".
Yeah.
I didn't think you was 6'3". I thought you was probably going to be my height.
I think me and you will have like the same NBA 2K face skin.
That's the best way I ever heard of saying that two people look alike.
That was what I was trying to reiterate. Like, if
AD robs the bank, they might come for you with the facial recognition software.
It wasn't me. It was Chuck.
That's so fire.
The height difference is all I got.
That'll do a lot.
Yeah.
No, we were just talking about how back in the day, one of the last times that I potted with Chuck was when we had A-Track on the podcast, and he had this fucking juicer. What was it called? The Juicero.
Juicero. And
if people out there Google it, basically like it was this weird product that had got so much money invested into it. And it was basically just this like juicer with these bags of fucking juice. And you would put the bag into the juicer and it would squeeze the bag and then you would have a cup of juice. And A-Track was like convinced that this was the greatest fucking way to get a fresh glass of juice. And they had all these millions of dollars dumped into it by investment firms and shit. And then one day everybody just sort of woke up and realized like this is fucking stupid.
Somebody exposed it and said that they wasn't sourcing the fruit. A-Track had told me, he sent me this article where somebody exposed it. Was just saying that it was like having a water bottle company, but you filling up the water in your sink.
Right.
So it was like nothing. There was nothing special about it except that it had a tighter grip than you, and it just smashed in a bag. So motherfuckers really just got over high key.
It wasn't gluten free.
Have you ever gone through a juicing phase where you get the juicer and you're just
Actually,
putting
I have a
apples
juicer.
and shit into it? It's fun.
Pure celery.
That's what you do?
Yeah. I haven't done it in a while, but the last couple of months I was doing that, just like pure celery juice and ginger too. Right. Like real ginger shots. Oh, them motherfuckers.
Yeah, the celery juice is good for your skin.
Yeah. You think ginger really does anything that good for you? Or you think it just tastes bad so it feels like it's doing something for you?
I mean, the way it tastes and the way it feels in your stomach, hopefully it's cleaning you out.
You think?
I think so.
Ginger is like when I eat pickled ginger at the sushi spot, you can notice that you're not as full and stuffed afterwards. It's definitely good for the microbes in the stomach.
That's interesting.
I drink kombucha for that.
But we still don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I be doing stuff and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna volunteer to do what everybody else is doing. Like, all right, we cleansing. This is what you're supposed to do in the cleanse. All right, bet.
What about the COVID vaccine? You gonna get that?
Here we go.
It's a good way to start this motherfucker off. At this point,
I wanted to talk about juice.
I say this, and this is said with jest, like, nah. But when I was in elementary school and middle school and shit, like, I took like 3 vaccines.
Yeah, that's probably why we're all alive right now.
For shit that wasn't happening to nobody. I didn't know no kid with no measles.
But that's probably why. But that's like,
you know what I'm saying?
This is why
chickenpox though.
This is why it's so hard for people to buy into vaccines, is because we don't see measles.
I definitely
so everybody's
had
convinced it's not a
chickenpox.
problem. It's not a problem because of the vaccine, but it's invisible to us because of the vaccine.
I don't have a problem with the vaccine. I have a problem with how fast they made this vaccine.
And it's like 5 people making it.
Yeah,
new versions.
It's
of
like
shit.
it's like, come on, like it's been what 6-7 months in production. It's like we're just gonna trust to put that into our bodies right now.
I understand being scared of it, but at the same time, I tend to sort of go to the experts, and like the medical community seems like overjoyed that this vaccine is around. And granted, they could all be wrong, and it could all make us grow horns and fucking start drinking our own piss and shit. Yeah. But I don't know. I tend to just sort of like err with the medical community in this regard. And also the main thing, and I keep coming back to this, is like, we're really going to test people's resolve about not buying into the vaccine once it's like, oh, you can't go to a strip club unless you have a vaccine. You can't go to Rolling Loud. You can't go to the movies, whatever. You're in there as soon as they tell you can't go to Rolling Loud.
This is the thing. You seen they said 15% of all black people say they want to get it. So it's like minority communities, man, I don't see people really wanting to get this. I can see essential workers getting it.
They need to start advocating for it like crazy. I personally nominate Lil Baby and Meg Thee Stallion. They need to do like commercial spots for the vaccine, and it needs to be on every TV channel. It needs to be on billboards.
Did y'all see how they walked the vaccines into the NBA stadiums today?
No.
Nah, they had one of the doctors is walking it and they playing the they playing like the coming to the court music, like it was one of the athletes walking into the locker room.
I fuck with that.
Yeah, but see, the whole thing of all of this shit is, and I say like as accepting and cynical as I can be, and I don't take nothing too serious, but I also do take shit serious. They leave too much. It's too much speculation that can be added to everything, like whether this disease is real. All right, but I don't know, because if I'm looking at it, it looks like everybody that I know is testing positive, but just nothing's happened to them.
No, I know.
But on the other side of it, I had 3 uncles or family members that passed away.
Already 3?
Yeah, through the year.
Holy shit.
I had buddies, parents, friends.
Yeah.
It's as real as fuck, but at the same time, Bernie Mac died of pneumonia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had family members that have died of... not family members, but family member associates that, you know, they had a crazy ass respiratory infection and died from it. Like, you giving people that always got something to say, all of these outlets, like, all right, well, what happened to the flu? A nigga like me is like, yeah, dog, what the fuck did happen to the flu? And then what did happen to fevers?
But the
and
flu,
then what did happen to all the other shit?
Never really that much of a deadly phenomenon.
No, but I'm saying no one has gotten sick of anything else but COVID since like July.
Can we get a fact check? I don't know. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like when somebody I know is like they don't feel well, they go to the doctor and the doctor says they got COVID. Not like you just sick and go home and take some.
I'm pretty sure some people are getting sick.
To me.
They just told you
because
that did happen to you.
I hit them up and I told them, I said, I think I got COVID, and I went to go get a test and they said I didn't have a test. They said it's like you got like a bug or a flu or something.
And
like
nobody has subjected themselves to more risk of getting COVID than him.
Nope.
He has not changed anything. He's been fucking letting strangers spit in his mouth. They test positive. They spit in his mouth. It's a whole disturbed thing that he's got going on. No, but one conversation that we had last week is I said to Josh, I said, I guess the bright side is if we all get the vaccine, but Housephone and AD don't, they can only really kill each other. Which, I mean, I don't want you guys to kill each other, but at least I'll be spared.
Are you just immune?
I think it's as much as tequila I drink.
Man, sometimes you
That's my theory.
You could put enough poison in yourself to be a defense mechanism instead of an
Is tequila actually poison, though?
Nah.
It makes me feel good.
We're slowly introducing the intervention that we're trying to have with AD to convince him that maybe you should scale it back a bit. I mean, you had this like devastating. No, what was it? You told us Friday morning. You told us that you were basically done drinking because you had whatever.
I said I'm going to take a couple of days off, in which I did.
And then Sunday, you got so drunk that you were actually hungover in bed all day. Monday, puking.
Yeah.
Yeah, being hungover when you're grown That shit sucks, bro.
Yeah, I'm 37.
I'm 36.
I never get headaches from my drinking, so I know I overdid it. But yesterday I had Monday I had the fucking, was yesterday Monday?
I don't even know which day today is.
Tuesday
Yesterday I had, head was pounding. And when I came in here, I was like, let me get through the news real quick so I can get the fuck out of here. And when I was driving, I was just like, man, just go home. And when I got home, I was just throwing up and I slept on the couch almost all day.
Oh, man.
We've all gotten to that point as a grown man, though, where it really starts hitting. Like, I remember when I stopped getting fucked up was basically when it got to the point where I would get fucked up on a Friday, and then I'd be in bed all day Saturday, more or less, and then Sunday I would still not feel very good and would still be hurting. I was just like, I can't. This is not worth it to me at this point anymore.
Yeah, and then that achiness, like, I get that. You know what I mean? You didn't sleep right. And you just feel like, damn, I really threw a whole 24 hours away, but I'll do that shit again.
And
you know what I'm saying?
I started to get addicted to the $300 fucking nurse who comes to your house with the fluid that they put the IV
you were
in your
doing the
arm.
drip?
Ooh.
What if that had the vaccine in it?
I wish.
might
Once
have
we
a
started
vaccine.
getting going with that, though, that was like $300 extra added onto it because it kind of would like fix you up a lot.
Does that shit work?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
And I told him I had to fucking, they was going to give it to me once a week for free.
Yeah.
And I didn't like needles. I get a million tattoos, but I just don't like shots like that.
Damn.
No, yeah, shots suck, bro. Hey, because
It's not that bad, though.
if you get the one up here, because I've had, I had a crazy ass surgery. I broke my ankle in college, and it was like I broke my shit off my foot, damn near.
Really?
So
You got the clip? Play the footage.
Nah, I wish I did. Yeah, we getting. I'm looking for the footage right now. There is footage. My buddy was with me when I was on my skateboard, and I fell off that bitch, and I had to take my foot and put it back onto my leg, and then I had to sit on a skateboard and just do this all the way back to the crib.
Right.
But the night that I did that, I went to the hospital and they asked me, did I want a shot or an IV for the pain? I had just seen someone get a shot where the needle was this long for something that they had to do that was going to stop the...
Is that your phone or whose?
Let me turn it off.
Sorry.
That might be mine.
Calendars, I know that sound.
That's the calendar noise?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, some alerts. But
So
yeah,
I'm a calendar guy.
Yeah.
Let's sync our calendar so we all know what each other's doing.
No.
Okay.
yeah, but I saw the needle go real slow. It was like from this far out, and it went in, and I just seen the dude's face, and I was like, yeah, no. But me turning that down was actually the worst shit I ever did because the doctor didn't give me no pain assistance and broke my ankle back in place while setting the cast.
Oof.
That's when I knew I was like, bro, you really ain't no hoe. Like, I used to wonder, like, what situation I would get put in where I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna be a bitch today.
Right.
That was probably the worst feeling. That's like somebody breaking your arm off in place, but breaking it into a cast and then forming the shit so the cast stuck. And I was like, that's how I know I don't like needles.
Isn't it crazy to think a lot of people will go through their whole life without getting a fucking devastating injury? Like, have you ever broken a bone or like really fucked yourself up?
Yes, I broke this, and it's still not straight to this day. You can see I broke this arm and I fractured it at the same time.
How?
Stupid as fuck. I was my dad was watching me. I was about, I want to say 11, and we had a swing set in the backyard, and my dad was supposed to be watching me, and I was just, I would usually like just keep going higher and try to do backflips and front flips off of the shit, and I was going so high. My dad see me, he was like, "Stop going so high," and I'm like, "Fuck you." And I'm just like this, I just keep going back and forth.
It sounds like the way you live your life now too, by the way.
Yeah. So I got so high that I was above my fucking house, and I fucking flew off.
Oh no, bro.
I flew off the goddamn swing, and literally I'm coming down, and I don't know how it happened. I'm coming down, and I fucking fall under a barbecue pit, and my fucking arm goes snap, snap. Yep. And my dad
Under a barbecue pit.
under a barbecue pit.
He was really in the trenches, huh?
Hey, and the fucked up part about it is that my dad didn't take me to the hospital. He made me a sling, and I went to go lay down. And when I woke up, the neighbors was like, "Yeah, he got a high fever. He needs to go to the hospital."
He made you a sling?
He made me a sling.
Your dad is a wild man.
Yes.
The more I know about him, the more this kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but
Did you end up going to the hospital?
Yeah, I had to go to the
I was
hospital.
like, damn.
They took me to the orthopedic hospital, and I had to get I had to get shots in my arm, and I had to have a cast for like a year and shit.
Yeah, no, that shit ain't fun,
Yeah,
man.
it's not fun.
Dude,
I was, I was.
Ooh, it itches bad too.
The worst one was when I broke my collarbone on a mountain bike, and I was in the 8th grade, and they couldn't do surgery until the next morning, so I had to sleep with my fucking arm, like I would keep falling asleep, and then my arm would like fall down, and the collarbone would like tear apart because it was completely broken, and they had to put fucking all kinds of metal screws and shit in my shoulder.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, listen. You see how we
That's
sharing
what it's
these
like being a
stories?
kid.
Yeah, sharing these stories is crazy because now that I'm grown, I literally am like, I can see why you did that because you ain't never broke nothing before. And you see people do shit that it's like, bro, relax.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't been there before. And then it's not just the injury. It's like, if you get the injury, then you got to get surgery. Then you got to get that recovery and rehab. And
That'll scare you into being very careful about what you do with yourself,
man,
real quick.
Because having to go to rehab because your shit won't work if you don't, and you got to do that for 3 months is not fresh, bro.
See, I got a lot of homies like they get shot and they have to go to rehab and stuff. So, yeah, we ain't worry about no broken bones like that.
AD has seen a lot of death and trauma. That's
Nah,
one thing we've
man.
learned
Really
a lot
have.
about on this podcast.
I got buddies that been shot. It's you in the same hospital with the same rehab person.
Really?
It sucks. Like when I had 6 screws in my ankle. So I know I ain't never been shot, but I definitely could tell you what something going through your bone forcefully feels like, especially when the morphine wore off, because they gave me a trigger after surgery. At first, I didn't know what the fuck the trigger was doing. You know what I'm saying? I was just hitting that bitch, and the lady would say, hey, you know what I'm saying? You can only hit it twice every 30 minutes.
Right.
As soon as...
Because it limits itself, right?
Because once it goes away, you understand what the fuck is
that
going
painful.
on. Now you like, oh, turn this motherfucker back on. I don't want to feel this.
Right.
One of the strongest memories I ever got in my life is my mother driving me from surgery back to the house, and we stopped at Walgreens to pick up my prescription, and that's when the pain medicine wore off, and like I honestly don't think a 12 gauge would hurt more to the side of the leg.
But when you're in that environment as a kid and you don't really understand like what you're doing to yourself by pumping yourself full of fucking pain medication, because I remember it as a kid and like having that realization, like, oh, this is amazing. I'm gonna keep tapping this button. But it's not like if I were to pop a Percocet, it's like I know there's gonna be a feeling after that of not feeling so great. Like, yeah, you feel good and then you feel bad and you get used to that. When you're in the hospital, nobody tells you as a kid. Like, you just pump 20 shots of Valium into yourself.
And then as soon as they unplug you and you get in the car, you're going to understand why you ain't never want to leave. You'll want to walk back in the hospital. Like, yeah, just
That's how
suit
I
me
felt.
back up.
That's how I felt about the dentist. I was afraid of the dentist for so long. And man, and for a nigga that got fake teeth now, but before I was so afraid of the dentist. I was so afraid to get shots in my mouth and all that until I had a fucking infection that would not go away. And that was the worst pain to this day.
Yeah.
I felt in my, I knew it was bad. I had a fucking, in one of my wisdom teeth, I done had 3 of them taken out already. One of my wisdom teeth had cracked open, and I had this cracked open wisdom tooth for like a year or 2 years. And within every 3 or 4 months, it'd get like, kind of like an infection. And I would use, what's that shit? Amoxicillin. I would get amoxicillin. It's like penicillin. I would get amoxicillin, and I would get like I would swig peroxide, and it would like cure it for like a couple of months and shit. And then one time that motherfucker, the amoxicillin stopped working, the peroxide stopped working. Oh my God, I was in the wrong neighborhood.
Don't play with your teeth, man.
This is how I knew I was fucked up. I was in the wrong neighborhood. You feel me? Getting some food, but
the wrong neighborhood. Like, you went to, the food was so good that you went to an area of people you had beef with just to get some kung pao.
Something like that. Cause I'm with my grandma. You know what I mean? I got my hood on. I'm in the car. Like, you know what I mean? She I can't tell my grandma like I can't be over here or anything like that. So I got to put my hood on. But I knew that I was so fucked up because of my tooth. It just like felt like a shot just hit me out of nowhere. And I'm like, Granny, I can't sit in the car no more. Right. And she's like, what? And I just open the door. I put my hood on and I run through the enemy's hood and I'm running home. And the only reason I'm running is because I'm trying to take my mind off of the pain going in my mouth. And it was a Saturday. And my mom was like, unless you want to go to emergency dental, which is going to be very, very expensive, some money I didn't have, you're going to have to wait for the next day. And it went away for a little bit, and that night, like 3 in the morning, pow, pow, like a shot again. I get up, I'm just socking walls now, waking up everybody in the house because that's how painful it was. The next motherfucking day, I go there, I say, take this motherfucker out of my mouth. I don't care what the fuck y'all gotta do. And they gave me like 3-4 shots. They took that motherfucker out, and I said, I'm never playing with my teeth again.
Nah, yeah, toothache will make you do some shit.
If I had a toothache like that right now, though, I would find a way. I would find somebody who had some like serious fucking painkillers.
But nothing worked. It's like my body got so used to healing it so much. Mind you, this is cracked open.
You take some Oxycontin, I think it'll work.
Well, I should have hit
go
you up.
find a bum.
They got some new futuristic shit at the dentist office though, because I had to get a tooth pulled like 10 years ago. Not on the same lines of wisdom tooth, but I had a filling that kind of came out, and I had an exposed nerve, so they had to take the tooth out.
Right.
I get in there and it's a root canal. I'm sitting with the dentist. I'm like, you ain't gotta put me to sleep or nothing like that. He's like, nah, I'm gonna just shoot you with this 2 times. And it was like, I didn't even feel the numbness kick in till I realized that the tooth was out and he was done. And I was like, what the fuck was that? He was like, oh yeah, we got new toys now. And I was like, all right, well, I still don't want to see you no more, but bet. Because I was in there thinking I was about to do time. And I was really prepared. Like, man, I ain't never had a root canal before. Like, I ain't trying to cry. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't seen, my mother didn't have 2 things done. I didn't seen friends get 2 things done, and I'm just like, bro, that shit is straight to your brain, and that pain that it sends up, this is crippling.
That ain't worth it. Kids, take care of your teeth.
Take care of your canal too.
You know who's one guy that I'm kind of shocked hasn't been shot yet?
What?
Okay, so I'm watching. I realize that's a weird way to start a conversation.
I was switched up.
No, because like the way that we got into the dentist conversation, at one point we were talking about, I had friends who got shot, and I was just, I wanted to bring up this guy. I know, really, really weird transition, but we did say that like 10 minutes ago. Okay, I'm watching the 6ix9ine documentary on Hulu. I guess you could say that he's someone who deserves to get shot, but I'm watching this because they use my interview footage of me in it, right? So I'm watching it. There's the guy who's basically, he was just like a Hispanic fool who was driving he was his driver. He became 6ix9ine's driver at one point. And then the feds want to infiltrate the 9 Trey Bloods, so they find the driver and they say, oh, we're going to get you for, I forget exactly what it was that made him decide to be a informant.
There's some child shit, right?
I think so, but I think they also didn't mention that in the documentary, because that's what I remember it being, was that he was wanted for getting an underage girl pregnant or some shit. But I mean, allegedly, I don't actually know if that's facts. But either way, that dude was the informant for the Fed. So he's the reason why, like, and I mean, we don't have to get all into the case and everything, but he's the reason why when they kidnapped him, there was video footage and audio of it and everything, because they had all the shit in the car recording everything. That guy goes and he snitches, and he's obviously like a huge part of why the case was put together against the 9 Treys or whatever. He still lives in that neighborhood, and said that a couple of times, or at least once, he said, he's picked up guys who are in the gang and as a driver, or Uber driver, or whatever, giving them a ride, and they like even said like, that's you, huh? Like, you're the fool who fucking snitched on us, whatever. And they just they haven't felt the need to do anything, which is not really how you see it in the movies. Normally, that guy has to go, right?
This is not the mafia. All right?
You don't shoot cops.
That's the thing. Like, I know it's a nigga that's out there right now that took the stand against me. I would never touch him or do anything to him, because once you work with the boys, nigga, it's like killing a cop, or if something happens, you're the first person that they're gonna come to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you stay away from that. Like, I was literally just watching The Sopranos over, and it's like, no, Tony's gonna hunt him down.
Because
like, you know,
in The Sopranos, if you snitch, it doesn't matter. You are done. They're killing you one way or another.
Yeah. But that's how I knew when I was like, I had a tweet from like 2 years ago that somebody brought up, like, Chuck knew. But when I was in Chicago, I remember being there, and there was all of this shit on my timeline about 6ix9ine and pulled up to O Block, or 6ix9ine is here, 6ix9ine is there. And I just started doing the addition, like, hey, G, I you know what I'm saying? I grew up a certain way, but the people that I grew up around, you know, they got different life choices. So I've seen shit. Regardless of which direction I went, I'm very well, you know, aware of how shit goes, you know what I'm saying, in the street. And I was like, this sound like some cop shit. Like, when I was in college, like the cops would start gang fights in Chicago. So I stayed in the Latin King neighborhood, and I knew that I read a newspaper like, damn, why is shit so hot right now? And then this would be the incident, and I'd be like, niggas wouldn't really do that. So what the fuck was that? And then it always comes down that it's a informant or some sort of undercover. And when you got gang unit undercovers, they don't give a fuck. Do you remember the hip hop police when they was sending everybody? All right, why haven't you heard from them since? Because they figured out another tactic, which is let's just make rappers. You know what I'm saying? And everybody be falling for this shit.
So you're hitting us with the 6ix9ine was always
a cop. I seen it when he came. The protection that he had from Rahm Emanuel in Chicago. Why? What the fuck for?
But you're talking about when he pulled up to O Block?
When he pulled up, wherever he went, I actually saw the car he was in and the people he was around when he did the shit.
But he hired cops then at that time for sure, even when he was walking up and down Melrose. I mean, that's how crazy his shit went, is that I remember seeing him on Melrose, doing that interview with him, and then like seeing him one other time after that with a couple people chilling.
If you could see the detail of the security that he had when he was in Chicago, you know cops when you see cops. It's certain gear, it's certain shirt, it's only shit. If you buy guns, if you're in the guns, you know when you go in the gun store, it's a section that you can't even touch because that's directly for police.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So you start spotting the shit that only police get.
They have a special section in the gun
guns
store
in the
for
store.
cops?
We can't. It's
like better guns,
like
or
in
like
a tactical spot. When I go to the tactical store, or if I go to the gun shop and I'm looking for new shit, I'll see something and I'll be like, "Damn, that shit hard." And they be like, "Nah, it's police edition only."
Really?
So they got police edition Glocks. They got shit that even if you had, you going to jail just because you're not allowed to have
That's
that.
fucked up, though.
Fully autos, if you get caught one of them, you're out of here.
You can't
That's
even.
fucked up, and they put it there right in front of everybody else. Like how are they? This seems so fucked up.
Remember
Just
I
sort
told
of
you?
flaunt it in front of people.
Remember I told you? I was like, look, you ain't supposed to have hollows and stuff, and I was breaking it down to you.
Nah.
That's police. That's like for police.
If you
That's
go
not-
to the
you know
gun
what I mean?
range, in some gun ranges out here, they have hollow tips for you to shoot, right? And those gun ranges, they have signs that say you have to empty your clip before you leave here. And I mean, it could be on you, but if you know what I'm saying? I keep some shit in my house, but if you are out and you are hollow tipped up, that's a whole nother case you don't want. And that's just in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start to notice that they shift their direction from just jumping out on you at the tunnel and arresting Mob Deep style, you know what I mean? Like that whole era of shit has shifted into every time I see somebody talking crazy, I'm just like, the way you talking don't even make sense, bro. Like,
But, okay, even
people
if-
in this shit don't even talk like
Even
that.
if you're skeptical about the 6ix9ine thing, like look at the situations that are happening with like G Herbo and the Casanova thing. I know we like kind of touched on this last week or whatever, but I mean, they're really like making it easy as fuck on the cops when you look at something like the Casanova situation. They're saying that he had evidence in his DMs of him instructing people on like where to commit crimes. We won't go into super detail, but then the cops basically just sent a search warrant to the fucking
everybody
Instagram. They have access to
6ix9ine
all
was
your
beefing
DMs.
with is in trouble right now.
Yes.
That everybody,
that's
every
crazy.
single person 6ix9ine was beefing with is in trouble, and that man is safe as fuck.
That's interesting.
In the club talking crazy shit to Javante Davis. That's cop shit, bro.
Yeah.
Not a nigga in his right mind is gonna just lip wrestle with a motherfucker who hands is registered.
But he's not even in denial about the fact that he's with the cops now.
But he told, like, once you, like I
He
said,
worked.
it's like
How is he-
nobody wants to touch you now because I mean, look, the thing is when you popping off gangster shit and you get caught on some gangster shit, that's the difference. It's like once you tell, you're branded that forever. It's like he can walk through this door right now. You know what I mean? And I don't think no one's gonna want to touch the nigga. I don't want
Right.
to go to jail.
You're not even gonna try to be by the blunt that get passed to him before you get a wire
I'm
put
cool.
on you. You
I'm
know
cool,
what I'm saying?
guys. Hey, have a nice day.
But that's what ultimately is going to drive him crazy. And because, like, it seems clear that his music career is not really going to work out. But there was a moment, like, 9 months ago or whatever, where it kind of felt like, oh shit, like, is this actually going to happen? Is this actually going to go down? But even when his music seemed like it was doing okay then, it still felt like he was going to be miserable forever because nobody wanted to be associated with him. Which also, actually, this transitions nicely into the conversation that we were talking about having, which was this epic Clubhouse call that went down this weekend. And actually, I thought that that was one of the more interesting topics that got brought up. The act didn't really respond to that much, is that Meek Mill basically like accused academics of being part of like a conspiracy to make 6ix9ine pop off. And I don't know. I thought that was an interesting thing for Meek to throw out there, and Act didn't really get into that so much.
Exactly.
But that was kind of interesting.
He kind of did, though.
Because, okay, when you're Academics, though, this is the whole thing. Did he ever get money from 6ix9ine or his label? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me at all if I found out that they did. But at the end of the day, too, like, he's running a business where he gets followers and he gets likes and he gets whatever from posting about shit that goes viral. And we all seen it a million times that when 6ix9ine would fucking fart or do anything, call somebody a bitch, whatever, it would always go viral. So for Academics to post that shit is the most self-evident thing ever. But, I mean, from Meek's perspective, and I do think that when he said, I immediately felt it for a second when he said, you posted about 6ix9ine laughing when King Von died. We posted that too. And I posted it in large part because I thought it made him look like a fucking idiot. But, I mean, there's a good point, I think, to be had there on Meek's part. Like, if your media company constantly puts a light on things that we all agree are bad, I mean, what does that really say about your media company, you know?
I feel that in total. And the only thing that I say makes what I was saying before, because it's no telling what type of people then came and seen Academics. I just watched a whole documentary on how the feds brought down Costa Nostra, right? All of the big mob bosses at the top, the families, they never were anywhere that anybody could see anything, right? Feds go back and Rudy Giuliani and them are like, fuck it, let's change the rules. And they come up with the RICO law. And then that RICO law gives them the permission to do the foulest shit. Like, they fucking with your cable, so you call the cable dude. Now, the cable dude is a Fed putting a wire in your house. You get what I'm saying? Like, if they want to do some shit and rap seems like the easiest kill pond, it's like, if we are prosecutors, all we got to do is prosecute rappers. We fucking undefeated. You get what I'm saying? You got to look at what the competition and what the game is. And if you are not playing the game, but they are playing against you, you getting wiped. You getting wiped. And that's what a lot of shit is happening. It's like, we asking, why is Academics highlighting 6ix9ine shit so much? Why is Academics talking to Freddie the way he was talking, bro? Every time I seen that, I was like, that shit cops say to motherfuckers, they want you to react in a bar, or they see somebody they know this a street getting money dude from the neighborhood. We want to create some sort of like introduction. So undercover cops are be in the bar starting shit. Right. Just to get you to jump wrong, just so they people can catch you leaving the bar and flick you.
But I think that what you're saying about like why would Academics feel like it was okay to talk to Freddie like that, Academics' response to most of that seemed like he's responding to people who have said things about him. Because I remember how that Freddie shit started. It started because Act said that Freddie can't even sell as many records as Young Jeezy right now if they both were to drop or whatever, which, I mean, maybe objectively was true or whatever, but it did start with Academics just talking a little bit spicy about Freddie. I don't know if Freddie had ever said anything about him before that. Do you recall?
See, the thing is, and the way that I see it is that, you know, with somebody telling everybody that I'm not a street guy, I'm not like this, I'm not like that, everybody probably been like making jokes on a nigga for a long time. And as a man, where do you draw the line to where you have to defend yourself? Right. You know what I'm saying?
But in Academics' position, there's like a weird thing where rappers are pretty much usually given the pass for talking shit to a media personality, but then like the media personality gets judged like a civilian. Like you're not supposed to talk spicy. You're not supposed to act crazy. And I almost, to a certain point, I've realized that over time, is that if a rapper really has something negative to say about me, it usually doesn't really benefit me to act aggressive back, because if I act aggressive back as a media guy, it just usually will get spun into me being an asshole or thinking I'm tough or whatever. Whereas I see it from rappers' perspective is that when they diss the media, it almost always goes over well. Like the fans are almost always behind them. If you're a rapper and you diss Academics, No Jumper, or Vlad, you're gonna get a shitload of retweets and you're not gonna get any real follow-up from that. You could diss Charlemagne. We've seen it a million times. Nobody really seems to hold that against anyone.
Here's the thing that you just said, Academics and then Vlad on the other side, right? We're discussing whether Academics' intentions are bad, right? On the other side of the Vlad shit, I tweeted out last week, like, I knew that shit was sus. Me and Mikey did a Vlad interview. The motherfucker wasn't even there. It was a laptop. I didn't see his face at all. I'm just hearing his voice. And I'm like, I don't got you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows what I'm up to. I ain't got shit the police need to look at, no way. So it's like me talking about my album with somebody like Vlad doesn't bother me no more. But when I sit back and I see the questions he asks, motherfuckers I know that did some real shit in life, I'm like, bro, that shit is weird. Because the setup itself, if you knew like, all right, you know, I did a whole bunch of time and, you know, I'm about to do this little interview telling my story, and you walk in and that shit is creepier than a, what's that shit where you gotta go see the judge and you gotta talk to them on the screen? Like, it's creepier than that. You getting sentenced and you looking at a screen. That's what that shit feels like if you into something that, you know what I'm saying, you don't want everybody to know about. You know what I'm saying? So that type of, you know, slight to those media guys is like, you know, yours is majority curiosity. You know, I've known you for a while. Like, shit you ask is just shit Adam would ask.
But like, there's that thin line, though, because it's like, if I interview, like, I saw Vlad, you know, I feel like the kind of shit that he gets shit about, like, not specifically, but like when he had the baby on, he did a really, really good job of getting him to sort of flesh out his situation with the Walmart and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, from my perspective, somebody has to do that. Like, that's not that has to, but if you're a fucking willing participant in the interview, because the baby easily could have said, I don't want to talk about it, you know? And I've had Vlad even tell me that he has had somebody on his staff call the sheriff's department or call the local police department or whatever it is to make sure that the person's case was closed before he asked the person about it, which I actually thought that was pretty smart, because that's not something that would have necessarily occurred to me. But I mean, it's a question as a person in the media, but the weird thing is that the media, or like the people at home, Vlad does an interview talking to somebody about their criminal shit and gets a couple million views, but then you'll also have 10,000 people retweeting something saying that Vlad's a cop. So it's like two things have to be true at the same time here, is that hating on that side of doing hip-hop content is really popular, and that content is also really popular.
No,
like,
yeah,
people
it's a
clearly
double-edged
want
sword.
to know about that kind of shit.
And the thing is, for like, Vlad interviewed me, right? And I was there and I was next to him, and the first thing that Vlad told me is, he says, whatever you don't want in this interview, let me know and I won't share it. You know what I'm saying? And even though the questions that he was asking me was kind of weird, like he asked me, oh, I said, I got a little brother in prison. He's like, what's your little brother in prison for? And I could respond and say, well, he did this and bop, 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 bop. And if that comes out, that's really on me. And, you know, when he asked me that, I told him, I said, my brother's in jail for some alleged stuff, you know, like some stuff. And I just left it like that. And that's like how I like how Pee Wee Longway went on there. Like, you a Crip, right? He's like, nope. You know what I mean?
Like the color blue.
Yeah.
I just like the color blue.
And the thing is, too, is like, if somebody comes over here and talks to you and they say something, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes both ways. Yes, this nigga's asking the questions, but be smart enough to not incriminate yourself in nothing that you do. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
You know, there's the thing when Lil Baby, when Vlad was asking Lil Baby about the fight Baby got into with Jill, and he was like, how you know he was a white dude? That was when I was like, yeah, how the fuck did you know? You don't get jail. There ain't no jail notes.
But
ain't no way you could just look up on the line and see.
That the baby or Lil Baby played that excellently, but when I asked Vlad about that, he said that Lil Baby had just told that story already in another interview or some shit, and that he had apparently just forgotten that he had said that it was a white guy or whatever. But I mean, like, that is like, yo, it's the shit about Vlad goes so viral so consistently, regardless of if it's true, because the whole Casanova thing has been like really, really blown up. But if you actually peep that Casanova interview, like, what are the most controversial or incriminating things he talked about? He talked about robbing a liquor store, which he got caught for and had already done time for. So that's why he felt comfortable talking about it. And then what was the other thing that he talked about? He talked about, damn, there was some dumb shit. I forget. But he really didn't incriminate himself that much. Like, the shit that he got caught up for is not the shit that he was talking about on that interview. If anything, the thing that surprised me was that Casanova was in a gang that I had never even heard of before, that he had never really said by name in songs or in interviews and shit like that, since so many people say, I'm in this gang, and then they don't get Fed cases for being in that gang.
But see, remember what I told you is, like, by default, if my gang does something and the feds build a case up around it, I'm going to get entangled into it off the rip. And even just having associated with guys in the section, that's how they put you in that shit. You could say, here, well, somebody can hit you up and say, yeah, I need some money for this or I need some money for that. They can use shit like that against you.
If we were aliens showing up on Earth right now, the fact that people so gleefully talk about their gang affiliations on songs and in interviews and then get Fed cases for literally being in those gangs, it would seem like the craziest thing on Earth that people just sort of incriminate themselves that easily.
I don't do it no more.
That's how cool being in a gang apparently is.
It's not cool.
Is that people are willing to risk their freedom just to have people know that they have that association.
We just live in a different time now. Like, with all these, with everybody getting targeted and stuff like that, like it's happening more frequently. Social media is just leaving a trail for the fucking police. You know what I mean? You just everybody's just leaving breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying? Just, I mean, I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm about to say something about myself.
No, it's to me, it seems like this was perfectly executed, and just the direction kind of music is taking. Even like street music been street music, but it's way different than we was listening to Thug Motivation 101 or any of that shit. It was still like content based or story based, or I was just listening to the past 3 days. I just took just one CD. I was listening to CD again, and it was Mr. Don't Play by Project Pat. And I was just like, man, this shit is deep. This like the whole album was deep as hell. And then I started to notice like, through time, the labels incentivize like, you know what I'm saying? It's no telling how many times I got put on a street rapper, and as soon as I go to his Insta, he already is verified, and he's already got 600, 7,000 followers. Like, it ain't no easy thing to get verified from Instagram. That shit ain't no, like, I know authors, I know video, like movie directors that ain't been
But so much of
yet.
so much of that has to do not with the labels, but the fact that the labels don't really matter anymore. That you could be a kid who's not signed to a label and you make a song talking shit about your ops and basically like laying out who your side killed. Like a lot of those Brooklyn drill rappers, like one time I saw a compilation of like all the different poppin' Brooklyn drill rappers and who they beef with, and it just was like including like different lyrics that I would kind of look over because I don't know exactly who's beefing over whatever, but it's basically like straight up acknowledging that so-and-so got killed by my crew. And in a lot of ways, that's why that shit is doing millions of views, because it's like watching a fucking horror movie in real time. Like you're watching fucking murders play out via YouTube, via SoundCloud, whatever, but it's taking place, and these people are documenting it for you, and a lot of times are ending up in jail for it or ending up killed for it.
And that's why I like how what 21 said in the Clubhouse app was like, look, you can't just put the blame on just academics. It starts with all of us. We the ones that are glorifying, talking about smoking on packs of people. Like, these are real people. Like, people just make light of, oh, I'm smoking on this pack.
It's the same culture that was having a fucking laugh at Gucci saying the shit about Pookie Low.
Exactly.
Like 3 weeks ago. That was, I mean, it's the same shit.
And that shit is crazy in itself. And you write about, like, people like the dope they being sold. You know what I'm saying? They like it a lot. They complaining about it, but they like the dope they being sold. And it's making it easier for the authorities or the people against you to just prop you up real quick. And then everybody's satisfied because we prop you up. Everybody likes you, but they kind of want to see you fall. And as soon as you fall, they is as interested in you going down as they was on you getting up. So it's like,
move on.
Yeah, it's like, it's super microwaved right now. And it makes it dangerous for people that's, you'll hear the story, I'm just trying to, do better for my family. But you know what I'm saying? Like, words are magic. And you put certain shit out and it comes back to you actually with interest and way quicker than it used to. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody can be everywhere. Motherfuckers send your tag or send your location. That's the craziest shit I ever heard in my life.
Bro.
like nigga.
Bro, it's not.
Like, what
address.
The fuck?
It's not even.
Remember Quavo? Address.
It's not even fair now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how I grew up and how things are now, it's like, my nigga, like, my little brother is in jail for having his cell phone in the scene of a crime. Like, they pinged his location from his cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my nigga, every time you talk to somebody or you diss somebody or you do something, it's like they have that shit right there. You can't, even when you delete it, it's not gone. It's just going to a database.
The question is for somebody like you or you as well, I guess, like your content was, I guess, more like street or whatever. But imagine yourself coming up right now and all you got to do is talk shit about another neighborhood on the other side of town that you actually genuinely don't like and you and all your friends have a problem with, and somebody might have shot at them or whatever. all you got to do is lay those grievances out on a track, and you know that song that might have got, you know, say you're just coming up and that song might have done 10,000 views on YouTube, and you know you could get 500,000, you know you can get 1 million. All you got to do is lay that shit out there, and yes, you're making it incredibly easy on the cops, but you also know that there's all these fucking kids aren't going to be able to look away.
Yes.
No, that's what happened with that Murder on My Mind song. I remember listening to that shit for the first time, and I'm like, I remember hearing it, and this is before Melly got locked up, and you know my brain works crazy, so I'm like, dog, this nigga did this shit. And I was like, oh no, bro. like that's why we like the hook so much, is because he had pain in his heart when he sang that shit. And then that was the song they pushed. Like that shit had like 120 million views.
I would have never been able to believe that shit would do as big as it was. When I first heard it, I thought this is the hard ass, but it's like a street record. Like I didn't think it was gonna become what it fucking became.
Man, that's because it was true.
Yeah.
And it's like allegedly. But still, like you ain't doing yourself no favors. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but see, that's why they say clout is a drug. It's like, you know that crack is bad, but there's crackheads out here. You know what I'm saying?
And clout, they still going.
And they still going. So clout is a new thing of that. And you know, with me being a street artist, right? I'm like, let me be smart about a situation, because me not even saying nothing to nobody, I didn't have the police pull up on me and say weird shit to where I'm like, okay, yeah, they're on to me. Or I didn't have my phone tapped before. I remember my homie got arrested one time, and he came home. He was like, they got your grandma picture in the fucking bop, 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 and they're asking me about this. So it's like,
your grandma's picture?
I swear to God. And my phone was tapped for like a year before. But it was just, it's just like, when it comes down to your supposed enemies and stuff like that, I was taught to, you know, we're not going to put that on air. We just want to ignore them niggas. They don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Because if you diss this nigga, now somebody from his side is going to have to say something to you. Now, you just gave them clout. This nigga may get a deal before you get a deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting, though, that you say that, because when I actually really think about it, in LA, it's not really that much of a culture of talking about who got killed and who's...
that shit real out here.
Yeah, because and there's OGs. There's people that tell these kids, don't do that. I'm sure you probably had people around you, even when you were 20 years old, that would tell you, don't put that in a song because the cops are going to get on your ass. I think a lot of these kids in Chicago and Brooklyn and shit they're the first gangbanger in their family. Their dad wasn't a gangbanger. They're the first ones out here.
They don't have no big... And look at Chicago. Chicago is a bunch of young niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, me growing up in the streets, I have, like, you met Suicide. That's somebody when I was growing up who... You know what I'm saying? Kept the neighborhood afloat. And before little homies would go do certain stuff, you would have to ask this nigga. And you know what I mean? And have to ask this nigga before you made any type of decisions. Because one decision that you make fucks us all up as a whole. And it's just like right now, like one of my little homies can go do something right now. I'm directly affected by it, even though I have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Then niggas is gunning for me now. And that has happened plenty of times where I'm out here somewhere minding my business, and they like, hey, this happened. Keep your head on a swivel. And I'm the fucking trophy for my neighborhood, so nigga, I'm public enemy number one. If one of my little homies do something and I have to guide them the right way, like, look, this is what we doing. Let's get some money. This is gangster, taking care of our families. All this other shit, starving and everything. This is the way to go.
And that shit I was saying about how there's just this insatiable urge for people to watch, you know, violence play out in real time and stuff. And you think about academics or like really a lot of these media companies, what are they good at? They're good at jumping between the people who want to see that shit and the people who are doing that shit. So that, because, you know, if it was up to, 21 Savage, he would probably really like only communicate with those fans through his music and his own social media, but he's not going to put all the crazy ass shit out there necessarily. Somebody like his social media kind of acts to show, maybe not somebody necessarily like 21, he might kind of have his shit more on lock, but if somebody gets into a fight at a show, maybe some of those people, they don't put that shit on their social media, but people around them put it on their social media, and it's like, it's too hard for the kids at home, for most of them, to really like figure out exactly what's going on. Like somebody is always gonna be there to fill that void, because if you really are on YouTube, you realize that there's academics, but then there's also like there's a million other kids who want to be academics.
Yo, there's so many. Look, it's a whole bunch of YouTube shit, because I get to the house, I play a lot of music on YouTube. Like if I'm cooking, or I just play one and let it run through. So I'm super proud of like where Detroit has came in the past 2 years and how everybody is slapping Detroit music and everybody, you know what I'm saying, really rock with the style that, you know, the Detroiters made. So it used to go from on YouTube, from everybody just posting Detroit stuff to now like YouTubers getting in the middle of issues with people in the city and like taking their lives that they would have did, or somebody getting in an argument on live, which is the craziest shit I ever heard in my life. But two motherfuckers don't fuck with each other. Y'all FaceTiming each other. That is insane. But you gotta understand that once you do that, that shit getting archived. And these people are going on YouTube and doing their dissertation of what they feel happened. Like, it's some shit going on where I know what the fuck happened, and I'm looking at 4 or 5 different stories of people tell you with 145,000 views what they thought happened, and saying that, oh yeah, they gonna get on them tonight. And I'm just like, bro, this shit is different. This shit is really like,
talking like that, and just been sitting there watching it and thinking like, they're gonna kill this kid. Like, this kid got 1 million views on this YouTube video, but somebody will shoot him for this if they get a chance, and if this kid doesn't sort of clean up his act over time. Because if you keep putting shit out there like this, they are going to kill you for this.
But once you do that, it's already gone. Like, if one of my family members is dead and you talk about them in a song and it gains notoriety, it doesn't matter if 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years go down the line. I would never forgive you for that. And I know that's how other motherfuckers feel about the situation. So when you cross that threshold, it's all gloves is off after that. Like, you can't come back and say, I'm a born again Christian now or something. Like, no, nigga, this shit is out here for the public to ridicule somebody that I love. Fuck
and
all
it's
that.
crazy because every single thing that we saying, your point is like somebody's gonna want to get in the middle to transcribe that for people. And the only thing I could think of is like, you're right, it's like motherfuckers want PS5s right now. I know people that are down to pay $3,000 for a PS5 without the games, the digital shit, just because they want it right now. So that hunger for just satisfying certain urges that you get, whether it be a media urge or whether it be, you know what I'm saying? People like to watch shit burn. And we just are in a culture now where we so desensitized to everything that we like, is that motherfucker on fire? I don't even want to see it.
You know what the thing I didn't like about the fucking Clubhouse thing is that it didn't feel like when they were coming at ACT that they were necessarily coming with specific enough examples, because there is always going to be a media source, and the media source is always going to put stuff out there about rappers that they don't like. Like, if any one of us went to a fucking party tomorrow and if a fucking famous rapper punched me in the face, it's gonna be on Academics. It's gonna be on whatever platform, and it should be. Of course, it has to be, because why? Like, it's interesting enough that of course this has to. What'd you say?
I said, I'm punching Cub back.
Yeah, we're gonna beat him up, but we're gonna kill him.
No, it's just funny how right you. It's funny how right you are, because I definitely even. Like, knowing you like I know you, if somebody posted hey, somebody knock Adam22 out, before I even call you, I'm gonna be like, let me see what the fuck.
I would put it on my own Instagram, to be honest, just because you got to get in front of that shit. But what I'm saying is that that's the kind of thing that if Meek Mill gets into a fucking fight in the parking lot of a club, of course that's going to end up on Academics, because it kind of has to, because if it's not on there, it's going to be on every other fucking platform. That's just the kind of shit. If it's public shit that happened, it's going to be on there. I think the more interesting questions are kind of like the fringe cases. Like, for instance, I've been in the position before where a rapper got killed, and then there was a video of the homies of the dude who killed him in jail talking on his iPhone, making fun of the rapper who just got killed. And that was a weird situation for me, where I believe we decided not to post it, because it was like, this guy is a nobody. He's A, gonna get himself in trouble because he got a phone in jail apparently, and it ain't like the cops are gonna fucking miss this. And B, he's saying something that is completely detrimental to society. You know, like, I don't think that this rapper deserves to be having his fucking grave shit on right here. And you know, it's like, those are more like the fringe cases where you have to make a decision, because it's, if there's a video of fucking Lil Baby shitting on his ops, saying some crazy shit about him, well, I mean, you're a fucking celebrity. This is going to be in the news one way or another, because, you know, you were smart enough to make this decision. But a lot of times it's like, when it feels like media outlets are just straight posting shit that's just straight poison to the community, and it's being done by people who aren't even public figures, I think those are like the more legitimate grievances about that kind of content, you know?
Oh man, it's a tricky 360 regardless of where it goes, because even that point you made to somebody that might not have that centered, you know, soul that understands like right and, you know, like, all right, this is right and this is entertaining and this is a little fucked up, I feel like people might like it, and then this is just totally bad. Like it's tricky because, you know, when attention is at stake and we are in a vast infinite abyss of internet, you know what I mean? To do what you gotta do to even get somebody to look at your shit is slightly absurd. And
we all know that being a good rapper is not gonna necessarily
not
get you there. We all know tons of good ass rappers, great singers, great lyricists, etc., who are not getting any goddamn attention. Or even like Chuck brought up the example earlier. Ty Dolla $ign put out an amazing album 3 weeks ago, and we are not talking about that. We're talking about some fuck shit.
Because it's you know, it's kind of like, and just like you were saying, this is where morals come into play. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's kind of like what the Clubhouse shit I was getting from them talking about academics too was, where do you stand morally? You know what I mean? And I like what they said. They said, listen, you put too much personal into your media platform. So even though they're like, okay, you're Adam22, but nigga, No Jumper is a fucking platform.
It gives me a little bit of leeway.
It gives you a little bit of leeway.
Something on No Jumper and they know I didn't post it, so I get, you know, but I still, like, somebody will quote tweet a fucking No Jumper post and say like, you're 36 years old, why the fuck are you talking about this? Even though I don't even know about it till I see it.
And see, it's like, even like Vlad, like if it's, okay, you have Vlad TV, it's your name on there. You have academics, it's your name. You don't have the the Adam22, whatever. It's like, okay, this is No Jumper. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different people a part of this fucking company now. So it kind of like slides to the side. And then too, like off camera, we have conversations about shit that you could post, and niggas, we like, no, this ain't a good look. Or we shouldn't say this. Or we shouldn't say this. And, you know, you got niggas like me that's like, look, the streets ain't gonna like this. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, in a way that they probably wouldn't even fucking think about. And it's not them trying to be fucked up or just post some shit for content. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? You need different people around you to give you different views of what to do and what not to do, and which communities is going to affect when you post that. And I feel like, you know, and it was fucked up with the Clubhouse thing, because I felt like for a moment, they was just like academics had no choice but to try to defend themselves.
If 21 wasn't in there,
oh, it would been bad.
You can kind of imagine that it would have been way more viral and really fucked up, like really like cruel.
No, yeah, he handled that.
I got so much respect for 21, man, way more now, bro.
I always thought that man was a genius.
No, that nigga now is like damn, my nigga, and it's coming from him.
Right.
What makes it even crazier?
You kind of think of 21 almost being in this like elder like role, like a J. Cole type role, which is pretty crazy because when you think about 21 coming out, nobody epitomized murder music and just crazy toxicity better than him. I mean, like I have to fully admit it, in like 2016 or whatever, when we were first listening to 21, it was the hardest shit in the world to us, but it was partially because there wasn't a whole lot going on besides just killing.
Pull up on a nigga blocking.
Now, you know what's crazy too is that I don't even know if this is like a subliminal thing, but No Jumper, it comes off like a, you know, an edgier, you know, hip hop Rolling Stone, or, you know, you got to people that won't know, you got a Howard Stern-ish like aura about, you know, how you answer questions, how you doc. But
appreciate
academics and Vlad were DJs. Like in 2004, 2005, Vlad was a DJ. Like his site was like all hip hop, or like any other site you got your mixtape news or whatever the fuck. Academics the same way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Academics was just like DJ'd in college or some shit for a little bit.
He came out as DJ Academics. That was on his shit.
My nigga, you got DJ Quick. I don't. One of my favorite rappers of all time. I don't know DJ Quick DJs.
No, I'm talking about like them being like personality, not saying they really DJ, but saying we come in as the producers of this music. We come as creators of this music, not covering the news source of this music. So the switch up, like, it gives them a little bit more access, which could seem unfair. Like you know, when I go do the Vlad shit, I wasn't watching Vlad interviews. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do.
was.
I seen one, and I saw CeeLo do it. So I was like, oh shit, yeah, cool. It's on my press run, and I don't think twice about it because I'm aware of Vlad from being a DJ, from me doing street team work, from college days. So I'm like, I'm going to speak to a DJ. Right. So if you think you speaking to a DJ, your whole expressions is different. If I'm coming to speak to a hip hop journalist, my whole vocals is different. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that has, in that clubhouse when they be like, man, you gotta be more responsible than that. I think that's where I saw like, hey, dog, you said you was a DJ, bro. Like if we dealing in music, then we dealing in music. You covering this shit like Wendy Williams.
I got the impression that Axe seemed like he was at least like open to like reimagining exactly like what kind of stuff he would be posting, which I thought was interesting because whether it's Vlad or Academics or No Jumper or fucking Lyrical Lemonade or whatever, it's like all these platforms are malleable to whatever extent and can change. Like, like the worst thing that Academics ever did was probably a long time ago in terms of like the kind of shit that he was covering that people think is irresponsible in terms of like documenting these really like small time Chicago rappers killing each other and stuff and doing it in sort of like a flippant way. Like I think that is like the main criticism that people will always throw at Ack was that he at times made videos that just seemed too joking about motherfuckers getting killed in Chicago and stuff. But it's like he has changed up his platform and stuff, but it's still like, like for me too, it's like I definitely am like constantly kind of having the conversation with you or whoever about what kind of stuff we should post, what kind of stuff is considered appropriate to post. One of the problems you run into is that a lot of the most positive shit will just not do numbers on Google or on Instagram. It's like because that's kind of the whole thing. Like TMZ has the same problem. Let's take it totally outside of hip hop. When I was talking to Van Lathan back then about TMZ, and I know he don't really fuck with him like that anymore, but like one thing he would point out is like TMZ would post tons of super positive shit, like positive things. People spending 20 racks in the club, and that shit maybe go a little viral or whatever. So giving out 100 turkeys in the hood on Thanksgiving, whatever. Maybe that get a little bit of traction. But then, like when they post about Kobe dying before the family was notified or some shit, or when they are the first ones to report like the crazy ass shit. I mean, on one hand, that's what makes them good at their job is that they're fucking first on shit that other people choose to be a little bit more tactful about. But then also the fact that like that shit is what they become known for because it's the big shit that gets your attention, Like a lot of like 100 positive articles are never going to amount to one such and such rapper shot somebody.
And we're all guilty of it because even like you, like what you told me, right? When Vale gave me that one site and we're just watching this shit, it's like constant murders and fucking cartel hits and beheadings and all that.
What was that like?
I don't say it.
No,
we're not gonna give it to him, but
no,
it's worse.
It's like Faces.
It's way worse than World Star.
It's like
Faces of Death, but
it's like that. Yeah.
It's like that, but it's like the most extreme shit, and it's like
it makes Academics' shit look like a joke.
Oh,
like if Academics posted any of this shit, it would be a completely different conversation.
Like,
no, so you saying this is like a site?
It's literally like
no, it's like I follow him on Instagram
cartel
too.
members like ripping their enemy's face off, like cutting the face off, ripping your face off, like a fucking body just stabbing the body 100 times. When we first seen it, we sat there and watched it for like 20 minutes, and then
I watched it for like 2 weeks, and then I was like,
I tapped out before you did.
but look. But listen, that's the point.
8 hours a day.
it's if that will intrigue somebody, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for now. You're not even looking for the good in whatever to be entertained. And it's like, I had to take myself away from that because when you keep watching that, it desensitizes you. And you're so used to just, okay, so no, somebody else died, cartel hit, ISIS shit, all type of shit. It's like, okay, this don't entertain me no more. Somebody, like you said, going to the hood, passing out turkeys, or somebody doing this, or a rapper doing this, or a singer doing this. And it's like, no, you have to have the choice of not clicking on that shit no more.
No, yeah,
I don't watch the shit no more.
It has to be a conscious choice because since the inception of World Star, I do feel like, I ain't even going front. It's been something I've checked once every 2 or 3 days for the past 11 years, bro.
I stopped at a certain point.
I stopped too.
Yeah, but like I dialed back like around the time they was doing Vine comps, because I used to check the Vine comps. That shit
those
used to
were
make me
Worldstar
happy.
used to
Those
be
was funny.
Vine comps
Worldstar,
was
the
the-
site was the shit when you
Yes.
could go watch fights all the time because you remember the content used to be so much more awful. Like it was like a different crazy long fight or some shit like
Fight
a million
comps.
The
in
fight
a row.
compilations, I used to love them.
But
Fight
even the
comps was
fight
great.
compilation Worldstar era was after that because it used to be that like they invented the fight compilation so that they didn't have to have the whole homepage be mad fights over and over and over, you know?
But look, it's just everything evolves. It's like, nigga, I remember bum fights. Like, nigga, this is not good to have homeless people fight.
Worldstar evolved because they weren't going to be able to get advertisers on their shit unless they cleaned up the way it looked image-wise, you know? So that, and really when you look at like all these Instagram accounts and shit like that, it's like they're big because, or they are what they are because Academics or Worldstar couldn't even post the most violent shit. Like if there's something, like when you think about like shit that would really go viral, I seen my homie X laid out bleeding to death in a video clip. Academics didn't post that, but if he had posted it, that would have been the most viewed clip probably in the history of fucking Instagram on his
They
account.
posted that shit, which is still
It's really
fucked up.
sad
see it all
because
over the place.
the truth
Right?
is,
Like,
is
that was
that is
terrible,
that's
bro.
the worst thing you can imagine. A beloved rapper dying in front of your own eyes, and it would have been the most viral thing that could have possibly been posted. That's how people are.
People
you
like
can't look
trauma,
away
bro.
from the
No,
car
yeah, that's what
accident
I'm
on the other
saying.
side of the road.
You
I
can't
know.
look away.
I'll be like this, fire or anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
People
mad.
like people love fire, and this is, you know, I would think that I love seeing, you know, the world get along and beautiful shit. But when I was younger, speaking about the car crash shit, one of the iller times, like one of the days where I was like, I don't know if that was cool or not. But I grew up on the east side of Detroit. I'm at a barbershop. We like in a neighborhood where the first barbershop I was at, we had somewhere where kids could play, but at nighttime you knew what type of time it was. So it's broad daylight. I'm hopping out of the car. I'm with a friend's uncle. We're going to get a haircut. It's a white Mustang that pulls, and it's like literally 2 cars away from us. It crashes into the side of the building. The dude hop out. He got a leather jacket on. He looked like Rico from Pay in Full. He got a gun in his hand, and he starts sprinting up the street. And I was like, holy shit, bro. Like, I should be scared, but I'm still looking at it. And I get yanked. Like, boy, get your ass in here. And I'm thinking, like, I get why people get into danger. Like, the endorphins and the adrenaline that hits from seeing some, like, that was some cop shit. Like, all I seen was cops at that point. I'm like 8 or 9. I ain't never seen, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen a high speed, high action. You know, like, I done been in a neighborhood where shit went down and all the neighbors is talking. That's drama, yeah, but that's grown folk shit. Like, as a child, to see like a speed and dope chase car crash, motherfuckers hopping out with pistols, you like, that should not be cool to me. But your brain is tricking you and like, I ain't gonna look away.
It's probably like more vivid to you remembering it right now than probably almost anything else that you saw as a kid. Like same thing with me when I think about like the fight experiences that I'm involved in, but that you witnessed or whatever.
Allegedly.
I'm saying that shit has to be seared into your mentality.
But see, and that's the thing too, like I told you a long time ago, is that I've been through so many funerals of peers, is that you really get immune to it. It's just like, okay, somebody else died, and these are like close people to you. Like, and it wasn't until like I moved out the hood and started talking to other people, like, you know, some of the shit you went through was not okay. No. You know what I'm saying? You just talk about it like it's normal, and it's like, nigga, that's not normal. You know what I mean? So when you come from certain places like I did, like, nigga, you're desensitized to people losing their lives. Like when I was in middle school, niggas was already getting shot and popped.
Right.
And you would hear about babies and all type of, you know what I mean, old ladies getting killed. And it was just like, okay, what do you, in every party I used to go to, like growing up, it was like, you knew it was going to get shot up. It was just a matter of when should you leave the party? And, you know, somebody get hit. It's like, okay, you're expecting to go somewhere and somebody's going to die and you just don't want it to be you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And hip hop doesn't talk about therapy that much. Like,
it's looked down upon.
It's not even regarded as trauma. It's regarded as normal to have a whole shitload of your peers die at a certain age. And when I say hip hop, like you're talking about your childhood. It's just fucking Compton, you know. Like, but these places, like, this is just not processed as if it's as serious as it is. Like, even with me, like I've said to you, I'm like, yo, like I've had like dozens of rappers I interview get killed like over the past couple of years, and you're like, imagine being from Compton. You're like, you're like, welcome to the club. I've been doing this longer than you.
Yes, bro, because, you know, and then too, like, speaking on Sopranos again.
Yeah.
They was mad when they found out Tony was in therapy. They're like, what?
That was the whole show's.
Yeah.
That was the whole show's anxiety the whole time from the first season. Is he's in there and he knows he's not supposed to be in there, and like they go through that. And like when you bring that up, that's the most important part of the show is that he's not supposed to be talking about this. He talks about like, you know where I'm from, like this is.
But
I'll be dead.
That's an interesting question. Hypothetically, is if it all of a sudden became clear that somebody like Meek Mill or Jay-Z was in therapy, do you think that the community would react badly to it? Like, do you think there's a big chunk of it?
I feel like now we're at a point where can't nobody stand up on no stool and try to tell you that ain't what's gonna work for you. Like,
right, exactly.
I think the transparency of what motherfuckers been going through.
There might be some hard-headed dudes who would be talking shit,
5-6 years ago.
It's different. It's different now. Like when you're in the streets. And no, I'm a streets and therapy don't mix. Like once you're successful, like if I went to therapy right now, I wouldn't expect no one to be like, oh, this nigga AD's in therapy. Like, nah, nigga, like that's cool for me right now. But like, you know, you can't diss nobody's dead ops and sit there and say I'm smoking on a pack and then going to therapy. That shit is weird.
You could. You just have to explain it to your therapist.
But
they're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. I mean, but what the... I think that anybody that would even do that wouldn't even go to therapy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have the conscious mind to go to therapy
first.
Yeah, before you went and did that shit.
I never talk about this, but I've been in therapy for 5 months at this point. And that's a conversation that I had with my therapist is that, like, I never really even thought about, like, the idea of it being trauma for me to watch all these people die. And like with her, like, and she makes such a big deal out of it. And then also I start to think like, because there's a new one every week, and I like not every week, but I've had to tell her about so many fucking times.
It's more.
I like just got done telling her about King Von, and then I got to tell her about Mo 3. And it's not like I have to tell her, but it's like lurking in the back of my head, like, you know, Boosie is in the hospital right now. Benny the Butcher's in the hospital right now. It's like all these, and that's not even to say anything about the fucking number of people that I've met who are like friends of rappers, like friends of Shoreline alone, like. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 people that I actually have like hung out with and smoked a blunt with that are gone already. And that's one fucking crew.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is too, is like, that's when I found out I had bad anxiety. Cause you know, growing up, everybody would tell you like, y'all, man, okay, good. You go to a funeral and you don't really face it. You know what I'm saying? You just keep moving, you keep moving, you keep moving, you keep moving. And I just started having like real bad anxiety attacks. And I didn't know why I was having anxiety attacks. I didn't know why I just suddenly started tripping and stuff like that. And then, you know, it wasn't until people told me like, nigga, the type of shit you go through, you don't talk about it. You don't let it, you know what I'm saying? You don't let it go. And it's like, no one is immune to that mental illness and mental problems and stuff too. Cause like now I can talk about certain shit. And sometimes, nigga, I be just driving. Sometimes, nigga, I just break down crying, just remembering all the dead homies and my grandma and certain shit that I don't really talk about. But now speaking about certain things and able to even talk about it on a platform, that helps out, because I know kids right now listening like, okay, especially in the hood, like, man, look, okay, this is not cool to go to this many funerals. It's not cool to bury people that you've seen every day, like your brothers and stuff like that. And you shouldn't even want to live like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but do you think part of it is the fact that if you were to take it as serious as it is, it would consume your whole life? Like in the way that like everybody kind of prefers not to think about the kids starving in fucking Africa or in all over places in the world and shit. We just don't think about it. We know that exists, but we don't think about it. And in reality, if you thought about it, you would probably start donating a chunk of the money that you make to these charities that help with that kind of shit. Because if we actually were honest about the fucked up shit that was going on around us, you would just not be able to go about your same like selfish life the way that we all do, you know? Like if you actually really took these killings that we're talking about as seriously as they are, you would be a fucking community organizer who would spend all your time. And a lot of times rappers do end up like that. When you look at somebody like fucking, God damn it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to act like I didn't even just do that. But there's a lot of like rappers that we've seen who get to a certain point where they start to maybe take that violence as serious as it is. And they start to like, that kind of becomes their life at a certain point. They kind of be, and I'm not sure if it necessarily is because they feel like they have to make up for some of the bad that they put into the world by rapping about killing and shit. But I mean, I don't know. It's like a party that just sort of ignores it, right?
And that's why I like what 21 said. He's saying, listen, we are all responsible because we talk about this shit. We laugh about the killings of people now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not unheard of anymore to hear about some dead person in a song or somebody dissing them. Like 10 years ago in hip hop, you didn't see shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't hear about, oh, that nigga, like people blankly saying people's names now. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I seen a nigga go to a nigga grave and like post it on Instagram.
That
like,
was mind blowing.
I remember when the nigga from the DMV.
Hey, I looked up.
You know
I looked up that little article. I guess the dude who passed away's mother said that wasn't even his grave.
Right. She said it wasn't his grave, but I've seen that a couple of times so far. There was a situation with Thug and Lucci where somebody allegedly fucking spray painted somebody's grave, like somebody involved in all that and stuff. And I even remember hearing academics actually talk about that on his stream where he said that shit happened and he just didn't even post it because he just thought it was too fucked up to even be encouraged. And then I mean I guess it happened again. And
that's when the shit get extra.
That becoming normalized. If that becomes normalized, where like every couple months we get to see a different rapper spray painting his op's grave. Don't you think like that being something that is like kind of new to hip hop, like that being covered on Instagram? Should we all maybe be able to agree? Let's not do that. Let's not encourage that behavior. Let's not post that behavior. When, like, it would be crazy. Like, it's hard to imagine, but imagine if when somebody comes out and says, I'm smoking on my fucking ops ashes or whatever, if the response from hip hop was, bro, that ain't cool. Like, why the fuck you gotta be saying that? That shit's corny as fuck. The same way that hip hop clearly does have like this collective like group think that they're happy to put upon people who do things that they think are fucked up. But it's like, there should probably be more things that people are and not you're canceled, not we should never fuck with you again, but not just bro that shit ain't cool. Like why would you want to encourage that or like ask like a real question?
The craziest thing is that's the most embarrassing response you can get is they want a hot or cold. You know what I mean? They want you to not care or to be extremely engaged in it. They don't want the hey fam you wildin', like that shit was whack as fuck. Like hearing somebody tell you something is whack as fuck that you did will always be humbling. You know what I'm saying? That's why I did shit the way I did it. Like I remember one time, like a girl told me some shit that I did was whack in like 7th grade, bro. And I was like, damn. Cause I like, you know what I'm saying? We was going back and forth, we was roasting each other. I had said something, said the joke, she got a little sad. I said the joke again. And then in the hall, I said the joke again. And then the girl I thought was cute was like, hey, that was whack. And I was like, damn. And then everybody looked at me like, yeah, that shit was funny in class, but it ain't funny no more. And I was like,
that's kind of like the big homie thing. Like, you know, if more people were willing to be a big homie to somebody and step in and just say like, yo, that shit ain't cool. Like, don't put yourself in that situation.
And I make it worse wearing a shirt.
What does it say again?
It says, Merry Christmas to all the ops. Hope someone got your ass this year.
Yeah, you realize.
Hey.
He offered me that shirt. I was like, I don't know if that's me.
Shout out to the homie Carl. But but you know, like
before we got into this conversation, that shirt was hard though.
I know. But I was like, now in hindsight, if I knew we was gonna talk about this, I was like, this is not the right attire to wear.
The red one was kind of funny to me because it looked like a really long Make America Great Again shirt. Like it was like a more detailed explanation.
Yeah, wrong.
I gotta go take a piss. You guys can
go
talk
ahead.
about that.
Wrong shirt day. Nah, but you know, even like now in my city, bro, I see like the trend now. I see a lot of niggas like kicking over candlelights now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all that shit is not cool, and shit like that to me can't be forgiven. You know what I mean?
Nah.
It's like it's a certain line that you cross when it comes down to respect. You know what I mean? Like, I understand like having enemies and having ops, and you know, when them drop, you ain't gonna sit there and be sad or anything like that. But you know, everybody has families. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has moms, everybody has family that loves them, and even though you and this person may hate each other and may want to kill each other, at the end of the day, it's just like I feel like these days are now way more disrespectful.
It was like, you know, from. I would say a lot of that shit got to do with the ability to show it off. You know what I'm saying? Like you think back to the what's that, season 3 of The Wire? Where they talking about they don't do shit on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? Like there was honor amongst thieves. Like that's where that statement comes from. Like look, this the game we playing, but here's out of bounds. Now, out of bounds, niggas is just playing 21. You know what I'm saying? It used to be the game, out of bounds, free throw line. Not everybody playing 21, making up their own rules when they get to 20, shooting shit like, you know what I'm saying? You know how 21 goes, and the ball is all the way in the grass. And niggas is grabbing the ball out the grass and dribbling it back on the court, bro. Yeah. And when everybody decides that there is no rule, even the person that created the game don't got shit to say. And it be down to the shit I say to people all the time. If you right? If you in a room full of 15 people and you know you right, but the rest of the 14 other motherfuckers is wrong, you wrong.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You might be right, but that might is only there because you can't confirm it and you can't back it up and you can't stamp it. So if you are in that room and you like, bro, it's really blue in the sky, and everybody like, nah, that actually shit is white, bro. Shit is white, bro. No, shit is white. And you sitting there like, but dog, you just gotta shut the fuck up. So it's like with certain things that's, in the big homie conversations, like I didn't watch a lot of these kids grow up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I look young, but I done been around here and I done seen everybody do shit since they was in high school or middle school, or somebody big at a label was the first person to throw a party the cool kids came to. You start noticing like, all right, I got a voice with people for certain shit. People, my rule is I'm not saying nothing to no little niggas that don't ask me, because I'm not trying to, wave a peace flag into some shit that I don't got nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying? But if they ask me, I'll tell them. But that's what the big homie shit is right now. It's like 14 niggas say one wrong thing. You, because you think you got history, or you think people listen to you, or you got bigger homies that then put you on and gave you more of a stamp than them, you think they about to listen to you when they'll shoot your ass.
For sure.
And that's the only thing that's stopping, I feel like, a lot. Shit is just Wild West. So it's like, if it's 3 motherfuckers I know, unless I know them right well, as long as I know the argument, if it's between y'all and there's nothing that can be done about that shit, I'm not about to play the hero and try to tell you which way for you to go, so you just turn on me, because that's how you use your words wisely. Like, it's hard to be somebody that got, then did a whole bunch of shit, watching a whole bunch of 22, 23-year-old motherfuckers do exactly what you're not supposed to do, what you're not supposed to say, how you're not supposed to conduct yourself, and you be the one to be like, hey, y'all niggas need to stop doing that. So they could just be like, shut your dumb ass up and hit me over the head with a club. Because as much as people think Chuck Inglish is cool, somebody will try me. Like, I don't think shit is sweet.
Nobody's exempt.
Yeah, I ain't never thought that the shit people have said about me held any sort of water. Like, I'ma just wake up and be the same cool motherfucker I've been trying to be my whole life. But that doesn't, what I did with the cool kids, all the other shit, man, somebody would come and hit me over the head with a brick, bro. And it's over with. And I ain't even see it coming. So it's like, there's no honor in that. Nah. And it's like, what point was I trying to make? Y'all was gonna fuck y'all shit up anyway. And I just stood up and said, what for what? So it's like, you could lead by example, and I think that's the most important part. Like, me and him talking about it, or us being on a No Jumper podcast talking about some real shit, when people like sometimes come to No Jumper like, what's them niggas gonna say today? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing I feel like on some big homie shit big homies can do. Like, I feel like that's why the youth don't really like respond to T.I. like that. You know what I'm saying? It's some social shit happen. T.I. running on the scene. Everybody like, yeah, G.
See, but it's different because, I think that's what Nipsey embodied. Yeah. Was,
by
like,
example.
For me, he was like the nigga like, damn, this is a nigga from this neighborhood, but my nigga, he's doing business. He's buying out the blocks. He's making dope music. Everything that he's doing is just official, and he's moving the right way. And that made, me as a street nigga be like, okay, I need to go this route. It's cool to have businesses, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I first heard of Bitcoin from Nip. Like, I didn't hear it from nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And even when he died, my nigga, I don't think people understand how much power for his enemies to come to his for him to say we about to have peace, and you know what I'm saying? They're walking together and stuff like that. Like, the shit like that don't happen in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to us to do this shit. And the fucked up shit about the street thing is too, it's like, You can have problems with niggas your whole life, but you go to jail and a race riot happens, y'all two have to help each other, which is the fucking craziest shit. You know what I'm saying? The same nigga that y'all was, you know what I'm saying, beefing with on the streets, y'all niggas gotta help each other if a race riot happens in jail or y'all niggas getting got. So it's the dynamics of it, and that's why it's a trap. Like, the shit is, it's crazy. So,
and that's kind of what happens to people, though, is that there's no like outside enemy to focus on. Like when you, if black people felt like they were at war with like an outside force that they could all team up against, then that would be beneficial, because that what the dynamic you're describing happens in prison, where people are sort of forced to stick together. But it's like, it really is like an issue of creating that urgency for young people, because really a lot of people are organized and thinking in that way of like wanting to better the community and stuff. It's just that then we tend to, our eyes gravitate towards the kids who are in gangs and who are fighting and who are beefing and shit, because reality is that is where the attention goes more often than not. It's just easier to pay attention to, and it's more alarming to pay attention to the shit that is going wrong than the shit that is going right. So it's like, we are talking about these people who are fucking up, but then at the same time, I mean, when you look at like hip hop as a whole, there's a lot of artists out there right now who you'll never hear any fucking gangster shit about. You'll never hear any violent shit about. There's clearly space for that within the music, you know?
yeah, and it's like, are you guys familiar with Watchmen?
I haven't started it yet, but I know exactly. I know exactly what it's about.
Not the show. The show is dope as fuck though on HBO. But
Are you talking about the movie?
The movie.
I haven't watched the movie.
I don't want to spoil it, but basically I don't want to spoil it.
You can give me the cliff notes.
All right. Basically, like, this guy that's part of them, like, they're supposed to be the good guys and shit. And he's like, look, basically, he like, all the motherfuckers in the world are beefing, and we having all these riots, and everybody's killing each other for religion and all these reasons. He's basically like, I'm going to make a common enemy. You know what I mean? So this nigga like drops a giant squid on the fucking, I think it was New York City, and it killed millions of people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I watched this shit. This sounds fire.
Yes, the movie is fire, and you got to watch the show. Right. The show deals with the aftermath of that. But
oh shit, yeah, that's how that plays out.
It just goes to show like people will only come together. He's saying basically like people only come together when they have one common enemy.
Right.
And I feel like even like now, it's like people, especially minorities, motherfuckers has made Trump the bad guy, and it's just like blacks and Hispanics are just like neck and neck now, which is dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we made a common enemy of Donald Trump.
Because think about different times in society, like when World War II was going on, it was very easy to look at Hitler and look at the Nazi party and say, that's the bad shit. We're all sticking together. Not that there probably wasn't gangs and people like getting into their own shit, but like, you know, same thing with like when 9/11 happened. It was just like, holy shit, we are at war with these motherfuckers who want to bomb us.
I remember that shit like it was yesterday, bro.
But you know what's crazy? You would think that the coronavirus would have done that, but instead it becomes like, again, like a two-side issue where there's the people who think it's not that bad, the people who think it really is bad.
But there's no enemy. There's no face of corona.
Exactly. Yeah. It's harder to, but you could imagine like, okay, if fucking ships of Japanese people showed up on our shores tomorrow and said, fuck all y'all, black, white, etc. You're all done. We're taking over. Japanese, we're taking over California.
Everybody's going to be tripping.
We're going to be teaming up. No, we are going to kill you.
Cam girl better hide. Cam girl better hide.
She's Korean, you dickhead. But, I mean, like, you could imagine, like, some sort of situation like that where motherfuckers really would team up together. Like I only watched a couple episodes of The Walking Dead. But if there was zombies right now,
I watched 7 seasons of that shit.
You and some Bloods are walking around shooting zombies.
Nah,
together.
we need.
I'm telling you, I love the Bloods. What's wrong with you?
Look, hey, the zombies show up. We gonna figure out. How tight we are.
Yeah.
But on some deep shit, it's not until we all got a common enemy do people see like we are the same species. Like we both got eyes, we both got nose, we both got ears. We coming like dogs. Don't be tripping. You ain't never seen a pit bull trip on a light-skinned pit bull.
They be fucking each other.
But like it's like dog species. Even the different species of dogs, like the tall one will come and fuck with the other one. Like they might not fuck with a fox, or they might not fuck with a squirrel, and they might not fuck with a cat. But dogs got their own community.
I heard they don't know how big they are. So that's why when you see like a little dog screaming at a pit bull.
For real?
It's because the little dog doesn't understand how funny looking this is.
And the big dogs don't know how that big they are. Like they'll hop up on you like I had a friend with a Great Dane mix, and that dog is big as fuck. It's like as big as the top bar to that right there. Like just tall. And just wants to get up on you like a little baby dog. You know what I'm saying? So that could be the case. And that's like the same thing with babies, like human babies. Like you get a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old, you put them in a room full of other 1-year-old and 2-year-old babies. All they want to do is play with each other. It's not until they start realizing what their parents are saying or what they said, because then they start repeating shit, and then they start emulating shit, and then they start wanting to be just like their parents
that's
till
how
they
I
rebel.
feel a lot of times when I realize, when I see on both sides of the fence, but when I see people sort of like giving their kids too much politics or too much of this like acknowledgement of racism and shit when they're young, on both sides of it, like on like, you know, it feels like, can't we just let these kids like develop a sense of the world without this like understanding that they're fundamentally different? Because like I see it with my friends' kids all the time, where they're fucking hanging out with other kids of different races and shit. They don't give a fuck. They don't even like understand the idea that it's a little like that. I think it's in any way interesting that my fucking white 5-year-old nephew is kicking it with like a fucking Indian girl every day. Like it's totally foreign to him that I thought that was funny in any way, because not like I didn't tell him like, oh, yo, that's mad funny you be kicking with this Indian girl, but like he has no knowledge of the fact that her culture is fucking different than his and stuff. It doesn't seem like he even has questions about it.
And you know, like they say, hatred is taught. It's not, you're not born hating anybody.
Right.
You're taught that. And it's dope. Like even Josh kids is like, I want to talk to AD. I want to talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like shout out to my white homie Justin. Like, you know, he shows his daughter my video. Who is that? That's Uncle AD. And it's like, I feel like the time we live in now, like, you know, we don't look at color lines the same anymore. Of course, racism is still out there. It's still fucked up. It's still just as bad as it was. But I mean, I feel like we're way more tolerant of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not rare to have Josh's kids say, hey, that's Uncle AD or something like that. Or I can bring my kid over here and I say, look, this is Uncle Adam. And you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we all coexist.
I look forward to that. I look forward to just like introducing my kid. Just the fact that my kid will never have that moment where a black person is kind of foreign to them. Because me as a kid, my dad always would tell me the story about how one time when I was, I don't know, like 5 or 6 or whatever, we went to a baseball game and the other team was from Lowell, Massachusetts, and they were all black. And I was like, Dad, like, why do those kids have dirt on their face?
Oh my God.
I know, isn't that fucked up? But I really didn't know black people like that when I was like 5 years old. So it was like an honest question. But I'm very thankful that my kid will never have to have that conversation with me. It's kind of weird that my upbringing was that white up till that point.
It's wild too, because I went to all boys Catholic school in high school. I went to a very multicultural middle school in the suburb of Detroit, and then went to high school at all Catholic school. And I never forget the day a buddy I'm still cool with, it was a friend of his, and we was somewhere, and I knew that day was the test, like, hey, take everything in perspective. Cause he's like, I ain't never really seen a black person. Only people I see is Puff Daddy on TV. And I just looked at him like, damn, that's crazy, bro. But this is my thing about like racism, because growing up in Michigan, you see a whole bunch of shit where it's just like, bro, you really not racist. You just don't know us. And there's a culture / classism that it is. So, you know, if my black homies that play baseball, we go to a bar to watch a baseball game, we got the team hats on that we fans of. That's the easiest way to make a conversation with a white man you'll never have a conversation with, is wear a fucking baseball team that he fucks with. I'll be at the bathroom I remember one time I was in the bathroom and I had a Cardinals hat on. This is like 2010. I'm looking at two redneck white dudes, but they look like they're from Missouri. I'm in Chicago. They're like, fucking Cardinals pitching is just trash right now. We all got our dicks out at the urinal. I'm like, you don't make that conversation because I'm, you know what I'm saying? If I'm black and I look different than the black, not just black people, but I'm of a different culture. You know what I'm saying? Where you're like, I don't understand them. Me having a Cardinals hat on and like looking like I was, you know, about to go to the bar to watch sports opens up that path of conversation. So in many times in different cities I done been in while traveling and touring, you know, I like to watch my sports, have a beer at a bar. I dress how I dress. You know what I'm saying? So I'll have vintage tracksuit on, and some white man will be like, man, my dad used to have one of those. What do you do? And it's not an instant like, oh, I know you rap. I don't necessarily dress like a rapper, but I'm black as fuck in this white-ass establishment. But because you think we got something to talk about, the barrier is over with. It's the fact that they don't got shit to talk about with you, or the fact that, you know, they don't like the rap that you listen to. Or, you know what I'm saying? They over here listening to rap, though. Like, you don't hate black shit. I didn't see, you know what I mean? Little Instagrams I done seen of these Proud Boys and all these alt-right motherfuckers with Jordans on. Like, I know that shit can't be a part of the rule book. I thought y'all motherfuckers hated us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not that. It's you're not familiar. You're unfamiliar, and you low-key scared of that. It's the same way around, like, anybody that comes to LA. I done lived in LA for almost 11 years now. Like, I love this city, but you know what I'm saying? I jumped into the city instead of doing Hollywood shit. So it's like, I know where the chicken spots are. I go to get my hair cut where everybody go get their hair cut in. So I got to understand the city a little bit more. So shit that I used to like not slide to, or, you know what I'm saying? I might see a Mexican homie and think like, all right, gee, am I even supposed to be over here? Now I understand it a little bit more. And I know that when people come here and they see like LA shit, right? You could be at the Dodgers game and it could be a whole section of people that just, if you ain't know no better, you would have thought they was really on that shit. They actually just Dodgers fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, just got a Dodgers hat on. They might have, their uncle might have had a Lokes on. They might have the long shorts, but that's how they dress over there. You know what I'm saying? If you were black from Midwest or whatever, you come over here, you might think that that's what that was, and you just don't understand LA culture, because LA culture gets along with himself. You at a Rams game, you at a Dodgers game, you at a Lakers game, motherfuckers is speaking the same language no matter what they look like. Like, if at a Lakers game, regular night at a Lakers game, Staples Center, you might see 15 motherfuckers that look like Lil Rob and all them old school Mexican, like South Park Mexican. You'll see them standing next to a whole bunch of black dudes with purple, like down to the motherfucking toenail. Just
Jack
purple.
Nicholson.
That's the weird part. You'll see a whole bunch of white dudes and then a whole bunch of black dudes, and they're all wearing the same exact memorabilia.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me in that moment, like, oh, this is kind of the only place where you really see that. Like that.
What?
Like, sports is one of the few things that can
After
really bring
the Dodgers,
people together.
I lived down the street from Dodger Stadium. After Game 7, when everybody won, traffic on Sunset was crazy. And I'm talking about, like, look, it's a car full of black people right here. It's a car full of Korean motherfuckers right here. All of them got Dodgers hats on the same way. All of them tatted up. All of them looking at the car over. And then I thought it was like, looked like it was about to be tension. And then everybody put their hands up out the window like, hell yeah. And then I'm talking about cars going by, dapping each other. Motherfuckers looking at me like, we wouldn't even be doing this if the Dodgers didn't win. Right. And when I heard somebody say that, I was like, there is a unity, man. There is like, there's not as much separation as people think. It's just that uncomfortability of like, I don't want to get to know this motherfucker. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't like redneck shit, so I don't want to hear that shit. Or I don't like nigga shit, so I don't want to hear that shit. But actually, y'all do the same stuff. You know how many fucking redneck friends I got that's the same exact person as some of the hood, east side, west side motherfuckers I know that are into the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like fishing. Fishing is one of them things that would bring black and white people together more than anything. Cause downside, like the deep down, like straight from they ain't never left their hometown before, them motherfuckers fish.
We should fish.
You know, he used to take me fishing all the time. Exhibit. Shout out to Exhibit.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's he fish at?
He loves fish, bro.
Well, where's he fish at?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
But,
like what? Like you go to like a bridge, or like you go
no,
on
like
a boat, or
like you go on a little boat.
Yeah.
And nigga, we went fishing a couple times.
Really?
It's a hood. I'm gonna send you this. We
got to get him to take us all out together. That'd be
it's
great.
a channel on YouTube. It's like, I don't think they say hood fishermen or some shit where they just are just a whole bunch of city niggas that are fishing, and that's all of their channel is about. Their whole channel is just bringing more people into that.
I've had that experience back when I used to live in Queens, that there was like a bridge where we would go and ride these ledges on our bikes, and I would just see a whole shitload of black dudes fishing, and I'd be like, Yeah, I didn't know.
But exactly,
fishing.
it's that
Fishing,
it's
you
that
can
I
just do it,
didn't
yeah.
it's
Just
that I
fishing,
didn't
man.
know that little small I didn't know misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Can be perceived as hate, or you
Right, no,
you be
no
like,
hate.
oh, why?
I was just surprised.
No, I'm not saying you, but
Yeah.
like people be like, oh, why they got? It's like when a white dude, we at a bar. I'm at some bar, some little small city hotel. We touring or some shit. The white dude leans over to me. He's like, why all these guys got these funny looking haircuts, right? And you looking at the NBA.
Right.
Everybody got a funny looking haircut. If you don't take that personally, you like, this white man ain't seen shit. And now, when he used to watch Jordan, we had bald heads. You watch Iverson, we got braids. Now you old, you 60, you a baby boomer. You didn't mean no harm by that, but you leaned over thinking that I was gonna give you some insight to it. And luckily for you, I'm educated enough to be like, that man just really wanted to know what's up with the haircuts.
Right.
It'd be the same thing that an old black man would have said to me at the same time. What's up with these boys and these new haircuts?
You take it, but people take it different
You
ways.
get what I'm saying? It's like the misinformation getting
I feel like that whole problem is exacerbated by the fact that we all live in our own little media bubbles. You know, like you ever take somebody else's phone and look at Twitter or Instagram on their shit, and you just realize that like you have a version of reality in your head based on all the shit you follow.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I'll be talking about some shit and I'll be like to my girl, I'll be like, man, this Hunter Biden shit is fucking crazy. And she'll be like, wait, what? What happened?
Please don't talk about Twitter in front of me.
All right, but
what happened to Twitter?
he's banned.
I got hacked again.
Yeah, he's hacked, right?
I need to get my shit back again.
Right. Somebody out there, please reach out. But like the fact that like I follow a bunch of these accounts that are talking about this one news story, so that becomes like a very prominent thing in my head that if you just didn't follow a couple of these accounts, you would have no fucking clue. And now we all live in our own separate worlds. And I mean, this shit is like more polarized now than ever. Like for instance, did Donald Trump win the election, or did Joe Biden fairly win the election? And it's like when you see the polls on Republicans for what percentage of them believe that this election was stolen from Donald Trump,
shit's scary.
It's like, yo, we are living in completely different realities. And like, no offense to them, but they're living in a fucking completely fictional, made up, ridiculous reality that is just being enabled by these fucking Republicans who just
That's like that girl, what's her name?
Having a good
Tommy
time with
Loren?
Yeah,
Where the fuck does she live?
I don't know why.
She just always just like,
Yeah, but you get a lot of these people
fuck
that
does she
they
live?
commit to the role. It's like
Right.
how certain rappers are. Some of these news people, they commit to the role. Like, it's no way and fuck that woman is that dense, bro. She doesn't go home and say that shit, but that's what pays her bills. Like,
Exactly.
that's what keeps her engagement up for them to use her for whatever message is being sent out.
Yes.
Like, no matter what, you know, the voter fraud shit is just like the first day I could have been like, how is it voter fraud if everybody's on the same fucking ballot and one guy's fucked up and you don't think that that was the vote, but everybody else that got voted in on the same ballot is cool.
Yeah,
it's
true.
like you just want to move the goalposts, and I feel like that's where Trump's intelligence gets ahead of everybody else that's slow, is that he's smart enough to know how to twist your whole perception of shit. He's been talking about this shit for 2 years. He told you 2 years ago that this election was going to be rigged. He just been saying it because he knew he was going to get smoked.
But the thing is that now you have somebody in a position of power who clearly cares more about his favorability or how his base feels about him than upholding the rule of law or respecting the institution of an election. Because, you know, I'm willing to take a lot of Republicans at face value that they believe what they're saying when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like, take Tommy Loren. I genuinely believe you that you think that it's important to keep Mexicans out of America. I believe that you're being sincere in that belief. But when it comes to like this shit, I do not believe for a second that she's as stupid as she's putting on. And that goes for all these motherfuckers that are lying to the world and saying that they think that the election has genuinely been stolen. Like, you're doing this because you know people are stupid enough to fall for it. And there's a big fucking chunk of America who's fallen in line with it. And as a result, what do we have? We have like our whole election process like completely undermined. So it's going to be hard. Like, this will probably happen forever. Every election, there will be some extent to which it just is claimed to be stolen, and they're creating a false equivalency right now where they're saying like, oh, everybody said that the election was rigged or hacked when Trump won. It's like, yeah, some people did say that, but it wasn't like the way that the president was enabling it and the whole fucking Republican Congress, whatever, was going along with it until recently.
No, yeah, that first time when Trump won, that's absolutely true. Because I was watching how the media played it and how everybody was speaking on. Because everything went from fuck to damn, Hillary didn't do a good enough job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was what the narrative was put out. This time, like, when you know that the people you say, it's like, what is it called? Cognitive dissonance, where you tell somebody something so crazy for such a long time that when it gets challenged, they get defensive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a certain parts of people's religion. You know what I'm saying? You bring up certain parts that, hey, you know that's not what that translates out to, right? You know that there was only an English version of this.
But they're not trying to hear it.
No, they want to hear. They want to hear that the Bible has not been in English the whole time, and that it was the version you have in your house was written by a murderous, rapist king. You know what I'm saying? So if you take all of those things and you bring it to somebody's doorstep, they still gonna be on your head about it. Like, nah, my grandmother told me that. His grandmama told him that. So you're not about to fuck this shit up today. So if you've been thinking since 2017, 2018, they're going to try to steal this from Trump because they don't like the way he's making America first. And it's like, you dumbasses, America's first is not healthy for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a planet we got to share resources with everybody. So if they air fucked up, our air fucked up, it's not how it works. But you can't say that because if you bring that up, they'll be like, what are you trying to say to me?
Yeah, this whole thing where like the two sides can't agree on what's real because there's certain people in power on certain sides who are willing to just like willingly manipulate the truth. Like, you got to think back, and again, it's a Trump thing, when he wouldn't stop saying that Obama wasn't from America. Like, when he kept saying this motherfucker was born in Kenya, and it's like, you kind of can't imagine that he really was stupid enough to believe that, but you can imagine that he would have actually have like seen it as, you know, being enchanting to his base of people that were following him.
He's a real estate multi-millionaire, almost a billionaire. You've been selling shit that wasn't there your whole life. Right. That's what you do. But real estate is their whole business is using verbiage that don't got shit to do with the wall. So like, I heard in some sort of sales psychological reading I was doing that when people use shit like charming or, you know, posh, or use these words that don't got shit to do with the four walls, that is the ultimate mind fuck. Because how the fuck is a kitchen gonna be charming unless it's shitty? It's a little ass kitchen, you got a little ass stove, and we didn't give you the refrigerator. You gotta buy that on your own. That's what is being posted in LA right now for charming 2-bedroom with a charming kitchen. So how would you not think that somebody wouldn't know how to use the verbiage, you know what I'm saying, to spin a whole base full of people? Right. That he said when he got elected in 2016, if I went outside on Fifth Avenue and I smoked somebody, I wouldn't even nobody say shit to me. And he was fucking right. Right. And that's the scariest shit, is wrong is heavier than right.
But that's the weird thing about Trump, is that he's so charming, apparently, or he's so capable of like enchanting people, that he does things that are so far outside the realm of what like us as normal people could get away with. Yeah. Like, you know, if you had an issue with another rapper and instead of like, you just started telling everybody like, you know, he's married to a guy. Like, that would be the equivalent of Trump just telling everybody that Obama was from Kenya. Like, there's no truth to it. And somehow he still had a giant percentage of his base believing that shit. But it's like, we can't get away with that. I can't come on here. Like, when I was beefing with academics, I could not come on here and be like, academics is from London. Like, I couldn't, it just wouldn't work. Like, at some point, people are going to check, and like, people are going to, like, 100% of the people who are watching that are going to say Adam22 is a goofy because he's saying he's from London. It's not true. But Trump pulled that off somehow for a big fucking chunk of time. And that was like really like the start of his like political aspirations.
The QAnon, one of the bigger QAnon rumors was that fucking John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to pop back up from the dead at the Republican National Convention. Right. That shit was real, bro. That man died in a plane crash in '99. Yeah. They had a whole ass dissertation about how he didn't really die and he faked his death so he can come back with Trump and get back the people that killed his daddy. And I'm just like, gee, even if that shit was true, do you know how fucking crazy that is? Yeah. That man, so is Tupac next?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was just about to say that. Nigga, they said Tupac has been in Cuba for
They said that that Steve Jobs is down in South America and he just is in a wheelchair.
I believe the Epstein shit though. I think he's somewhere.
Nah, they definitely flush. There's look, and then that shit is a rabbit hole you can't never get out of.
I want to go into the Hollywood pedophile cabal.
Nah, but like
conversation.
You know, it's just the shit that they tell you. Like, you know, we went to the moon once, right? But then we went to the moon where motherfuckers didn't even have a smartphone yet. And they called you from the moon, and then we came back and we threw out the technology. That's what they told us, right?
I'm not equipped for the moon.
No, I'm just saying
landing wasn't real conversation.
I didn't say that it wasn't real.
Right.
I'm just saying that that's what they told you. They didn't say like, damn, we probably went up there and fucked some shit up and can't go back. They weren't honest about it. Right. They just said,
fuck some aliens up.
They said, they showed you this. They was like, yeah, we got the technology to get up there, but we threw out the technology, right? But we couldn't do half of the shit that it would take to get to the moon at the time. I'm not saying it's false. I'm just saying the ability to just throw some shit out and people be like, all right, smooth. So you got a dude in a maximum security prison. Like, I ain't been to prison, but I done watched enough, and I got people in prison that I've talked to that are like, yeah, this, you know what I'm saying? You ain't just doing shit without people seeing if you that high level of a criminal. So where the fuck did he get the rope from? And where did he
used a bed sheet? And weren't both of the guards asleep?
It just doesn't
like
make sense.
A bed sheet? Hold on, where are you tying? Like, I'm just saying that it's that easy for us to take something and not even scratch at it. Like, hold the fuck up a little bit.
But
like,
I feel like that was one of those ones where it just people were so unanimously skeptical of the story that it was like everybody just became a conspiracy theorist right away because it seemed like the version of it being a setup seemed so much more likely than the reality that somehow the guards were asleep, somehow the fucking camera wasn't working or whatever it was. I forget all the pieces.
The camera wasn't working that day.
Yeah,
see, you know what I'm saying? Like that day, this nigga's
in Cuba with Pop.
That one day, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like with all of the people on the log and all the people that's been involved in the easiest way they could slip that shit or sweep that shit under the rug is, all right, he's dead. It's over with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we just, you know, I don't give a fuck about scratching into shit that I don't have anything to do with.
Yeah,
the man's dead. He's like whatever version of his crime that he needed to be punished for. Either he's meeting his maker about it, or they got him somewhere and he ain't got no freedom. You ain't balling like you was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just gather up a whole bunch of young girls and hit a vacation like you thought was your life. So you living in some sort of hell. You know what I mean? But it's at the same time, that's the story they gave us. They were like, nah, like, that's actually not that possible. What else could have possibly happened? You know what I'm saying?
I hate when anybody takes content away from us because, like, Epstein getting on the stand and, like, admitting all shit and, like, ratting out mad people and stuff, like, that is hours and hours of content that we really, like, would have been better off if we had gotten to take a look at. And it just sucks that he's so selfish that he would rather just kill himself than share with us. Like, at least tell us what you were doing all those years. Yeah, or kill himself, or that somebody else would tell. Yeah, maybe we can't blame him.
But it's like there's too many. You know, when you're dealing with shit that people actually are getting charged with, like what was the
his girl's still around.
There's a big guy that was a part of Vogue or some sort of magazine that just got caught up in sex trafficking today. It's all of what's the dude from the White House shit on Netflix, House of Cards, Kevin Spacey.
I love that show too.
Yeah, but it's like Kevin Spacey.
He had all the
but he was like into the whole underage, you know what I mean? The Hollywood
a bunch of shit with underage boys and
Yeah,
stuff. But what came out about him today?
Huh? I didn't hear about today.
No, the dude that got in trouble today was I'm trying to think some Vogue editor, I think not even put Vogue out there like that. It's somebody that was high up in some sort of fashion situation that just got hit with a whole bunch of charges for sex trafficking.
Trafficking, huh? He's not just grabbing a booty. He's just like trafficking somebody.
I don't need, man. It's just so wild because they throw so much news. Like to even get back to my point, they throw so much news at you that will take, you know what I'm saying? If they were to say, yeah, the aliens came back down today, and they just, nobody seen it though. We looked up at the sky, we ain't seen it. We get on CNN, and CNN got all this footage of the aliens showing up. Now nobody would be like, I don't know, fam. We would all be like, nah, them niggas is here because we seen
like
it.
I'm grabbing my blammy pack.
I think that I think the aliens.
You about to shoot at the aliens, bro?
For sure.
You think the bullets gonna go
being
through?
around would only be able to remain non-political for so long before it starts to be like the. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be people on the left like, no, we got to get along with these aliens. And then the people on the right like, no, we need to blow up these aliens. And it's like,
look, I don't want to be the first motherfucker to up my shit at an alien and my bullet slow down.
Right.
And then start slowing down and coming back in my direction.
I'm gonna say this is how we say hi.
that's the weird shit is that we all assume that if the aliens show up, that somehow they would have superior technology, which is like.
The movies have shown that they are way more superior in technology.
But do we believe it? Like, what are the odds that we are able to just get an alien in a cage? And he can't get out of the cage.
I don't want to see that.
We all believe that like the aliens are going to be like somehow super powered, or they're going to have technology where they're able to fucking melt through the steel or whatever. But don't you think if there's another planet that has aliens, aren't they most likely going to be following the same laws of physics as us and maybe
what the joke is?
Similar to us?
I think we're like I've always felt like we are actually the aliens because
we would be to the aliens.
I mean, look at the rest of the Earth. We don't even go along with the rest of this shit. We have just colonized the whole Earth. We got buildings and shit. Like the animals they're chilling. I was on the golf course the other day. I saw a family of 4 or 5 deers kicking it, these geese kicking it, 2 foxes kicking it, and I was like,
nigga, where you go golfing? The zoo?
Nah, shit, Griffith Park.
But I feel like we're
LA.
the ones sort of enabling them to be getting along. Well, at this point,
Yeah,
like
we sort
of have to like geo-engineer the system for them to get along. Because like at a certain point, like a large percentage of the animals are just gonna kill each other, right? But I mean, also at the same time, like this whole country would be forests if we hadn't come along.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's some cities in other countries, like some Japanese cities, where it's like they make great use of all the foliage and they just live underneath it. And they're like not tearing down the rainforest to build condos. Like, it's no part of my brain that's like, hey, let's destroy a whole rainforest for a couple of little scamming ass condos. Like,
I just want to bring this up. Look at this meme that is actually like on my Instagram story right now that fucking kind of blew my mind when I saw this.
Right now?
No, I was just thinking about this earlier, but I just want to show you guys and just get your thoughts on it. So it's a man who's sitting here and he's surrounded by like all the people from the Bible or whatever, like as if he went in time. And it says, "I'd love to go back in time and blow people's minds with my incredible knowledge." And one of the guys, like in the Bible type scene, says, "But how does this internet work?" And he says, "I don't know." Because can you imagine, like, if you went back in time 2,000 years, you would be like, bro, like, I'm going to tell you all about the future. Like, we have cars.
They'd probably kill me.
They're going to say,
well, like, this nigga's a witch.
But say
they're
like,
definitely smoke you.
You're going to go back in time, you're going to say, like, we have cars. And they're going to say, how do we make a car? And you're going to say, I have no idea.
I'm going to teach them. I need a blammy and a blammy pack that goes with it.
Imagine you trying to explain a gun to him. Like, we're functionally fucking cavemen because we wouldn't be able to explain literally anything. All of the shit that's been invented over the past 1,000 years, I don't know any of it.
AD said he gonna meet every new species with the blammy pack. Everything is blammy pack first.
He's on. If he sees an alien, he's gonna shoot it. That's all he can think about.
He said if he went back and he said if he went to the future, he'd be telling them, "Oh yeah, we got blammies."
But that's kind of the question. If you go 1,000 years into the future, are they gonna have more guns or less guns?
My nigga, they probably have guns in your fingers then.
But okay, be real. In 100 years or 200 years, do you think that it's more likely that the average person has a gun or carries a gun than it is right now? Like, what direction does society go in the mad long term?
Honestly, 100 years from now, I think we're going to have like super suits and Iron Man shit that the blammy pack is not even going to be worth it then. Because they already making these robots and these drones that can shoot shit already. Like,
but I don't know, like the same gun that you could have had 300 years ago is the same gun that would kill. Well, it's not the same gun, but it would kill you the same way.
Yeah, they had that gunpowder. They sit there and put some shit in the musket.
You ever see like a movie where they're accurate about what it would have been like to use a gun? Then they're like pumping it and like refilling it, and they shoot, and then it doesn't work. And
they was literally making hand cannons. Like they was using cannons in war. And they was like, let's put this motherfucker in my hand.
Right.
Because it's the same mechanisms as like dropping that shit in the
That is true. Yeah. That's dope.
I remember one time when I was in I think it was in 4th grade, and the teacher came in to teach us about sex and shit, and she's explaining condoms, and I raised my hand, and I'm like, so like the early American settlers in the 1700s, like, did they use condoms? Like when they were having sex, like would they have used condoms?
You asked that at 4th grade?
Yes, because like that was
game
the,
up.
they're explaining condoms to me, but I'm thinking like,
game up.
okay, this is cool. Like we've invented condoms, but like, what about these people we were just learning about earlier today in class in history, like 300 years ago? And I'm like, did they have condoms then? And she's just like, yes. Next question. She just moves on, doesn't give me any explanation.
In actuality, them motherfuckers are getting syphilis and dying from that shit.
She probably knew that my 4th grade mind was going to be like, well, if they weren't using condoms back then,
why should we use it now?
Why was everybody all right then? Which is not a very good argument, but she probably saw where this was going.
If you think about just the FaceTime alone, like we were talking about that a long time ago, but like now that's just like normal.
FaceTime is super normal. I remember when motherfuckers wouldn't even call you FaceTime because it was like invasive. Now it's like I don't even know people that's close to me that don't call me FaceTime. It's like a sign of respect if you call me on my phone, just in case you think I'm doing some shit that, you know what I mean?
I remember when FaceTime came out and I was like, this shit's stupid as fuck. Why don't you why don't you just call? Like, why do you need to see them?
You just FaceTime before I came in here.
I know. I'm talking about like 10 years ago or whatever when it first came out. But honestly, me talking about Clubhouse like 2 weeks ago was like, how the fuck could anybody possibly ever spend time on this app? And now it was responsible for the most viral conversation of the week. Although myself personally, I still am kind of baffled at the fact that people have enough free time to just be chilling on this fucking
that's
app
the
and
part
stuff.
that really got me. It's like, you know, for the homies I know that produce, like, you know, Cardo and everybody else that's holding those beat battles. If you making beats, you can have your ear pods in your ear, or if you editing something, or if you playing video games, I can see how it works. But, you know, for a lot of the people that's managers, A&Rs, people that should be on motherfucking calls handling shit for people, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said the other day, the Clubhouse is like, I've seen some good shit about it. Like I've seen the food side, I've seen the stock trading side.
See, I'm only familiar with like the black Twitter side of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I see those conversations. I'm aware that they're probably doing other stuff, but the only part I have really
like
seen
everybody had on Jay-Z's birthday, it was like Just Blaze, hip hop. Everybody was in a conversation giving out.
Because that academics one was like welcome academics to Clubhouse. Like that was the room. And I wasn't actually sure, like, did he start this room and invite Meek Mill and Tory Lanez and shit? Or did somebody else decide to do this and just invited him? I don't know how that played out.
I have it, but I'm still like not into it.
I mean, we could do it at some point, but it's also like, for me, it's like as a person who creates this kind of content and this is the business and like this is what allows us to like fucking pay people and stuff. It's kind of like, okay, that app is making it so it's hella easy for people all over the place to just record a fucking podcast together, basically. Like, think about all the technical shit that would have had to go into that to make, you know, like Academics has like a streaming setup. Meek Mill doesn't. Tory Lanez probably doesn't. Like, they're not fucking sitting around like at their computer with like a perfect setup and stuff. They could just do it from their phone. It completely flattens the fucking playing field so that now, like you know, now people who do media or people who rap, they don't necessarily need to go to MTV when you could go on a Vlad or Academics or No Jump or whatever. But now when you look at the Clubhouse thing, it's like there's a lot of people who might choose to use that as their medium to get their fucking information out there. And it kind of like makes even a podcast, which is pretty bare bones compared to a TV show, feel kind of old school in comparison. Yeah,
that's just that the Clubhouse is I tweeted this the other day. And
I miss my Twitter.
Yeah, I said the Clubhouse feels like the Popeyes chicken sandwich a little bit. Like, you know, when everybody was like losing their motherfucking minds over the Popeyes chicken sandwich, and you were like, this doesn't make sense, but you had it and you ate it, and you was like, I can see how this motherfucker makes sense.
I was about to say.
Yeah, it's like, it's pretty good, but still, like, y'all are wilding. That's what Clubhouse is to me, because it's like, it has really no direction or directive. Like, you know, 21 and everybody hosting certain rooms for like a constructive debate. seems like
21 hosted it. He started that room.
I think everyone that I've been in, he was like the moderator. So
I just hope that he's getting paid for this.
I don't know where the money can come in there. That's what I'm saying.
The company, like, they need to be saying, like, we'll give you a percentage ownership or whatever, because otherwise,
make this shit hot.
If I'm 21 Savage and I'm going to be making content on Clubhouse, like, hell no, I'm going to start a Twitch channel
but the wildest part,
and do it there rather than just give this new company business for no reason.
The wildest part of that whole shit was the fact that motherfuckers was selling invites.
Really?
Yeah. And they're
like,
scamming invites.
Scamming the fuck out of invites.
Yeah.
Like they was like that was running that shit up like it was an EDD or something. Like
allegedly.
I logged into my shit today and I saw that I have 3,000 followers. I haven't done anything.
In a Clubhouse?
But it must be like people sign up and
they
then
can
it
see
just
who's
automatically
there.
follows me or some shit. But it's crazy too, because when I'm looking through, like, everybody who I know who is on it, every single person I know who's on it is a black person who's in the rap business, like, pretty much. Like, it's straight up, like, only blown. Like, I'm pretty sure that anybody I know, like I'm into the poker world. Ain't nobody talking about Clubhouse. I'm into, like, a lot of different shit that nobody's talking about Clubhouse. It's like hip-hop is blowing this shit up.
Hip-hop has made it a thing, because I got brought in by, like, the investment banking homies. I got, like, you know, my stock guys.
See, if I pay attention to the BMX and the skateboard world, if I were to bring it up to them, they have no idea what I'm talking about. But, like, in hip hop, like, stock makes sense because it actually comes from the tech world. Yeah. So that makes sense.
The stock one the stock one's very interesting. The hip hop one is like, as much as I wanted to be involved, it was listening to people talk over, like, how we are all giving each other. We all got shit to say, but you speak, we rest, you speak. It's like a respect level, first of all.
It's a big challenge in podcasting to, like, get that flow right.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's to do it in Clubhouse with so many different characters and personalities that want to be heard, and the only way you know who's talking is to follow that fucking light. It's just not, like, I respect it, but it's not practical for me because I like to listen, and when people are talking, like, I'm a listener. So my purpose there is to talk. So I'm already canceled myself out.
But it is so clicky because I can't really imagine going on the app and shit. But if Academics or 21 Savage had said, yo, like, we're doing this room with Tory Lanez and Meek Mill and all these famous ass people, like, you should come on it, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll come on it for that. But it's also like that right there, like, you're only seeing, like, the early stages of this app.
Yeah.
What about when they integrate video? What about when they make it just so much more like that? Like, you could just imagine what it could be as, like, the simplest way of, like, because, like, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, how is it any different than Zoom?
I was just about to say
Zoom. It's really like a chat room.
I was just about to say it. They add video. It's literally going to be Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a muted screen or a blank screen Zoom.
Yeah.
Where you're watching, because in Zoom, if you got like 16, 17 people in the shit, if they don't got their screen on, when they talk, the shit light up, and it's just like
And we were
Clubhouse.
amazed by that at the beginning of the fucking pandemic. We were like, damn, Zoom is so tight, like, the way it switches and shit. But you know what's crazy to think is that at the Clubhouse office, they, this week, had to have a meeting, and probably, like, multiple meetings, and this is probably the only thing they're talking about in the Slack channel, is who is Academics and why is he, like, the only thing that people are talking about when it comes to this app right now? Because all the people who started this app, this is, like, one of the biggest storylines in hip hop, and it's about their fucking app, and they're probably just trying to, like, make sense of it. Like, how did this all happen? How do we make this happen over and over and over?
You want to know? It goes by what we say. People like fucking beef and and negative shit.
We
and
like to watch shit burn, man. And it's like
Yeah.
the more controversial something, it's like the beginning of rap, or it's like listening to Shep Gordon talk about how he was breaking Alice Cooper. And, like, he has said that he had booked a big shit in London and the tickets were low, so he put Alice Cooper naked on a truck and made it break down in the middle of Piccadilly Square. And everybody was just looking at that shit, and then 2 days later, the fucking show was sold out.
Wow, where did you hear that story?
It's called Supermensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. It's a documentary on Netflix, like one of the better stories.
I gotta watch that.
That's hilarious.
Shep Gordon, he's the manager of Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Emerald, like everybody, Teddy Pendergrass. Like, that story that he has is one of the best of all time. But he was saying that, you know, in no short not to short his story or paraphrase him, but what he really was trying to say is like sometimes you have to play on the human emotion, and it's easy to sell things to people with shock value because it's quick. It's like you're making a quick decision.
The crazy thing would be if we found out that actually Academics has ownership in Clubhouse, and this
this was his new platform.
Him getting into this room and
That would be
seemingly
the
getting
ultimate
berated
move.
was actually him creating a shitload of value for the company.
No, I feel like the company obviously understands now that for the past 3 weeks, all of Twitter's trending topics are controlled by Clubhouse right now. Like I go in on a sports day, on my phone, it don't matter whose phone, anybody's phone. There's the For You and then there's the real trending. On the For You, I have nothing but NFL teams or what some quarterback did. I'll go to the trending U.S. worldwide. That shit will be at the bottom. On a Sunday, with Patrick Mahomes throwing like 5 touchdowns not too long ago, a Clubhouse topic was smoking NFL topics. So that's when I was like, all right, what was the topic though? And it was like a sugar daddy. Like it was a whole bunch of girls telling other girls how to get a sugar daddy. And that was like one of the bigger conversations. And everybody was talking about it till the next day.
But that's what's funny is think about a new social network, and what are we gonna do? What are we gonna use it for? Prostitution and beef.
They said prostitution is legal now?
It is?
In LA? Yeah, they said prostitution and fucking it's something else I've seen. I don't know how true it is.
Dudes start rapping about pimping then? Because I was thinking about
basically you're not gonna go to jail no more if you prostitute.
Right.
I mean,
at the same, if you really think about it, like the OnlyFans model has kind of normalized that. And
it's not prostitution.
It's not, but I'm just saying, like,
function where you could trade money and create a moderator. There's a part-time job you can have where you're an OnlyFans sex moderator. So if 2 people want to meet up, you are the moderator. You show up. You wait outside the hotel room so that if he kills her, she's got you to watch out for her.
I'm the pimp.
Like Uber. Like Uber for a security guard, but you don't have to be any special type of security guard. You're just a guy who waits outside the hotel room to make sure she don't get killed.
But what do you do if she does get killed?
I guess kill him, right? Or at least
that got
so
dark.
You're a pimp.
That got dark. Yeah. So basically, your point was the whole time is you're
Uber
a pimp.
Yeah.
He's talking about OnlyFans, a moderator. No,
it's a pimp. But I'm saying how that made that shit normal, and then the fact that it's 2020. And after the summer, they literally said in the state of Oregon that all illicit drugs are decriminalized. Like all of them.
That's exciting.
I mean, it is. It's just the point that they had to get to. It's like, y'all motherfuckers just going to keep doing this shit and not care. We might as well make it legal.
It makes no fucking sense for us to continue to spend all our time trying to get rid of this shit that clearly nobody is going to ever stop doing. To make it illegal just seems kind of besides the point.
No, yeah, making a lot of things. I could see where illegal has a lot to do with people's morals, where their morals stood when they were writing this law. But at the same time, I was going to bring this up earlier. It's like some politician that was anti-gay. I forgot which country he was in. It was maybe. I don't even want to speak on it. It just happened last week. He was super, super anti-gay on fuck gay marriage, fuck all this shit. And he got caught in a gay orgy.
Oh yeah, I saw that, but I didn't click it, yeah.
Yeah. There's been so many times where it's religious figures or all these people that stand on this moral high ground, and they only do that because they hiding something. In my whole entire life, I got gay friends. I hate saying that because it sounds like I got black friends, but I didn't never give a shit because it's I got homies that like nothing but big girls. That's just not what I like. But you gonna do you gonna do what you want to do. But to what I was saying, the pastors and certain preachers that get on these this hill and say all of this different shit about what God said and what the order is, and man should only lay with woman, right? Only for 2 years later for them to have some text messages where they sending dick pics to young dudes, or you know what I'm saying? It's that was like the Pastor Eddie Long, the dude that
bro, I was gonna say, like, I swear to God, I wasn't gonna say it on here. When you were telling me you went to all Catholic schools, I was just wondering, I was like, did somebody ever come on to Chuck English before?
Nah,
it was way more likely if you were in the Boy Scouts.
Nah, the only time
it's like they have like 100 times more lawsuits against the Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts
about
was
kids being
up.
molested.
Do they have Boy Scout cookies?
No.
I'm about to say the Girl Scout cookies is fire.
No, then the church. Like the church shit seems crazy. All these priests molesting boys and stuff. Apparently, it's like 100 times worse.
Yeah, and the Boy Scouts is way worse.
I was listening to a whole podcast about it the other day.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is when I was when I was coming up, like, you know, I had friends or whatever, and I would know that they were, you know, I know they were gay. Like,
For sure.
And no guy that I know that like just loved women and had nothing in them that might have felt gay ever said anything disrespectful or slighting them or marginalized them. I never saw that as different because I just, you know what I'm saying? That's just not my speed. But the dudes that, you know, was super banging on gay dudes and saying all the wildest shit, you know what I'm saying? 5-6 years later, you know what I'm saying?
They got a wiener in their mouth.
No, they actually are, you know what I'm saying? They actually are that. And was that the whole time. And it's like, you know, I forgot what city it was. It was like a Michigan city where like coach was real anti-gay. Gay kid was on the team and all this shit. Kind of forced the gay kid to leave. The kids wasn't as bad to him, but you know, 3 years later, you know, this prominent coach, his wife goes through his text messages, and it's nothing but doinks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we need, and you should be the one to help usher them in, but we need the first LA gangbanger gay
Stop,
rapper.
I knew he was gonna say
no,
this.
but just find some kid and just help like blow him up. Like, I don't know, that would be so big. Like if we like, because you told me that like the gangs are like one of the few things where it's just gay people don't seem like they're allowed in. So I mean,
no. They're undercover. There's a lot of gay undercover gang members, and those are usually some of the most dangerous ones.
yeah, they the ones that
on top
are
of
gonna
that.
shoot your
Out
boots
them.
off.
No, not.
What is wrong with you, man? It's 2020. We don't need to open up that.
No.
You trying to open up?
I don't want nothing to do with that.
No.
It's
That's
like
like you see what Ray J was like. Get with my homies that like niggas and put it right on their ass.
he was like, oh, no. He said, I'm gonna get.
The booty goons.
Then the booty goons, but come on, they still goons.
Nah, but look, check it out. If
goons.
if you privy, wasn't nobody else watching The Wire thinking that
Omar.
wasn't common though. That's you know what I'm
Omar
saying?
was the craziest nigga.
Yeah, nobody was acting like, wow, this is insane.
some
Like, who can believe it?
some of the most cleanest street fights where somebody got their ass whooped was so cold was somebody trying to press a trans woman, like a you know what I'm saying, hood nigga type, try to press a trans woman, got your ass handed to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not even a flight or flight. Not a flight or flight. What's that shit called? Flight or fight.
Yeah.
Not like a response ass whooping. Like walked your ass down to the ground ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? Like this your sexuality don't have shit to do with your toughness
Which of you
or
would
whether
be
you're
man enough to admit that you got beat up by a trans person?
If I got beat up by it,
I got my ass whooped. I got my ass whooped.
By a trans person?
If you get beat up, you
That
get
don't
beat
mean
up.
that they not strong.
Did that really happen though? I was just kidding.
No.
That would be fun.
No,
That's
that
fire.
was not. I'm just saying. I seen a gay nigga whoop like 3 homies' ass before,
Really?
and I was like, whoa.
No, that's the first misconception that you have
Yeah.
about like
Gay niggas got hands though.
human sexuality is really on a spectrum, bro. Like it's not just light or dark or gay or straight. It's preference down to personality. So if you grew up one way and you know what I'm saying, the same shit happened to you as a motherfucker that was tough, who you want to fuck don't got shit to do with how hard you gonna swing your hand or how quick you'll get to a gun.
That's real.
And that's been like that moral high ground that the church would use, and you know, gay people are, you know, less manly than, you know, regular men is only
It's a stereotype.
Yeah, only till you figured out that, like, you know, some of the most manly, masculine images you've been pushed have been from a gay man. You know what I'm saying? Like Tom Selleck, like Magnum PI, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like when you think about like those burly, most of the times that's what, you know what I'm saying? That is the person that is gay, that you were getting your super machismo from, like he sold it to you. So are you pissed now? You get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't, that type of shit I ain't never thought was even something that you could pour in a cup to hold water. Because you can get your ass whooped by everybody. But for you to think that, you know, because of someone's attracted to something that you're not attracted to, that you could whoop their ass is the misconception you gonna walk into and get fucked up every single time.
My nigga, look at the scare. Look at the shit I showed you on YouTube. The most insane prisoner of all time. What did he say? He was like, yeah, I make them my man. They're like, are you gay?
Oh, you talking about the dude in jail?
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not gay. He's my woman.
Just be glad that that's not normal in America.
My nigga, that nigga crazy.
Oh yeah,
he said, what happens if they don't want to be with you? I killed them.
Wouldn't it be so awkward if we had to deal with that kind of shit in the streets, like where it was just normal for like a rapper to just have some other rapper and he just bangs them in the ass and then we all like he just punks them out and then we all got to know about it.
Jesus Christ.
He's putting it in the music and shit. He's like, I banged your little homie in the ass, haha.
But what is the scariest thing for?
I can't believe we even are here right now.
No, but you think about it.
The cartel be doing that shit.
Wait a minute. Why are people, young guys in the hood are afraid to go to jail? Because they don't want to get raped. Like when you're little, you be like, I don't want to get raped. And the actuality of it is you're going to go to jail. It's going to be someone that's a gang member that's been in jail for probably 40, 50 years that'll probably rape your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like, so it's crazy, bro.
But when you were a kid, that's like, oh, I'm not going to steal this candy bar because I don't want to get raped.
Nah,
so
you don't remember?
I was like that.
Adam, you around my age. You don't remember Scared Straight 99?
Oh yeah,
MTV? Yeah, that kept me out of doing a whole bunch of shit.
Because
when you don't remember that when that older white man, he had longer hair. He was like, "I'm gonna befriend you, kid." He's like, "I'm gonna take care of you, kid. I'm gonna get you a smoke when you need it, kid."
Right.
And then right when you need me, he was like, "I'm gonna fuck you, kid." I was like, "Gee, I don't want no."
I think I like just willfully
parts.
like sort of turned my head and didn't pay attention to
Nah,
that when
yeah,
I was
go
stealing
watch-
candy bars.
I had a homie tell me a story about him getting like someone tried to rape him, bro, and that shit stuck with me for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Swear to God, this nigga, like, no one has ever like blatantly came out there and said, "Oh yeah, I hear stories and I know of like all through the years." But this guy, he told me like, homeboy, he was like, nigga, he said he went in the holding tank and he was in there for like maybe talking to these same guys for like 3 to 4 hours, and he just thought that they was super cool. He said out of nowhere, one of them niggas just hit him in the back of the head. You know what I'm saying? And tried to like drop him, and they all were trying to grab him to like hold him down. And he said that he was just swinging and clawing away for his fucking life, bro.
That shit will fuck
Nah,
you
there's
up
a-
permanently.
there's
Did
a-
you ever trust somebody after that?
No, but he said luckily the fucking guards came and took him out of there. But he was like, I was talking to these guys for like 3 to 4 hours.
Nah,
and they just did that shit.
There was an old, like I go on YouTube and watch all these OG stories, all these things that, you know, certain movies are based about, or all these characters in certain neighborhoods, just to know their story. And this one old Detroit gangster comes, and I forgot the name of, but it was around the time way before BMF. It's like the 70s and shit. And he was like, it was one time, and he said he'd been in jail maybe 8 or 9 years at this point, and they had a movie night, and then all the prisoners got to watch the movie, and it was somebody that like 40 niggas had dibs on.
Oh man.
And he said that they caught him, they knocked all of his teeth out so the shit was smoother, and that was when I changed it. I was like,
Hell
God.
What the fuck?
whoa. I was like, yeah, that was like.
Take a note. Put that in the music.
No, do not put that into
that
the
No, but
music.
shit, I didn't even have to finish the story just for us to know like how severe of a violation, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Jesus Christ.
And if that shit don't keep you out of jail, bro, I don't want to be around nobody that's literally thought about, hey, yeah, we gonna watch this movie and then me and you, we could share dudes' gums. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Gums.
Oh no.
Sweet Jesus.
yeah, nah.
Yo, we went. We actually hit 220. Right.
Nah,
now.
dope.
we were
Normally we
really
only do 2
doing, we
hours.
was doing good to the last 4 or 5 minutes. It's
And we
crazy.
started talking about prison
Now
sex.
I keep thinking about gums now.
Oh no. Oh shit.
Oh man.
I was trying to.
Jesus Christ.
But you ever do that? Like you ever actually get
No,
hit from a
no
person
gums.
that had no teeth? No.
You said get hit on by a person that had
No,
no
get
teeth.
head from a person that have no teeth. Because you
Bro,
always would
what?
hear about that hypothetically as
Why
a
you
kid.
look at me?
What? I'm just wondering.
Like I was getting my dick sucked from crackheads?
I mean, you've got some grimy stories.
I do, but I ain't do that.
I
But
know.
I have some friends that have.
That's what I'm saying.
You wanna know the wildest shit I seen?
It better not be no gum sex, but all right.
No, like, and this is so bad, and I didn't understand this
This
shit.
got real Howard
No,
Sternish.
no, this is like the wildest shit that I seen. It's not even like crazy, but it's the wildest shit I seen in the hood. It was I remember this fucking white girl. I don't know where she came from. She had to be at least at the time 25 or 26 or something like that, right? Apparently she's on drugs. My nigga, she would let like all the homies from all around Compton just like fuck her. And I'm literally watching some of my homies fuck her, taking turns, and they're like socking her in the back of the head, bro. And I was just like, they're like, hey, you want to hit this? I'm like,
But she didn't want any money
shit
for
looked
it
like
or
a-
anything?
she
just
didn't want
was
no
enjoying
money.
it? Wow.
She was
Bro.
just doing it, and she would go to the next hood. But that shit was like,
That's scarier than PCP.
If you meet a girl like that,
I was like, what the fuck?
if you meet a girl like that, see, this is the thing. I remember back in high school that you would always hear stories about like, oh, so-and-so, this girl sucked off these 3 dudes behind the bleachers or some shit. Or I remember there were these 2 hot-ass twins when I was growing up, and a bunch of BMX dudes I knew, they were hanging out at these dirt jumps in the woods, and these 2 girls just came through and sucked off all these dudes who were riding bikes at these trails. I was so mad that I wasn't there that day. But either way, all I'm saying is if you're a young dude and you got a girl like that around town, don't publicize it or talk shit about it. You need to foster her because you just don't make her feel bad about herself because then she's gonna stop doing that shit.
But it wasn't the fact that they were like running the train on her. They was just like
Yeah,
socking
socking
her.
her
So
straight
that
up.
was the weird shit to me. It's like, my nigga, she has bruises on her head, and y'all asking me, do I want to have sex with her?
Man, but you're sparking on my memory. There used to be this girl that used to come to the house and just fuck everybody, and she'd be telling. Like I remember one time, like my random homie was there, and she wanted to suck him off. She's sucking him off, and she's telling him like, smack me in the face. She really wanted to get beat up bad.
I don't think she wanted to get punched,
like this.
bro. But it was
She shouldn't have come around the Crips then.
no, bro. But that shit was like so wild to me. Like maybe I would have did it if I was like first, but not
Bro.
like. I'm just saying as a
Should've
little.
knocked the teeth out to bring this full circle.
I'm not talking about hitting her. I'm talking about
shit.
like being in line to hit. Because as a young boy, you want to get some ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like when I see my homies just taking turns and just socking her in the back of the head, I'm like, this
Look,
is not
As
sexy.
a 37-year-old, I can agree. I don't want to do that.
No.
No, look.
If I was
the
18, I'd
whole-
probably be in there.
My whole life, though. My whole life. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is an unspoken on thing, but, inner city or whatever, like, boys get into that shit. I remember the first time somebody told me about a train, and the only thing I could think about was, so all y'all niggas just standing there? and they
Yeah,
was
but
like,
you see it in porno. But it's just regular. They just
yeah,
be
but like,
kicking it.
I just thought about like, just hearing how they would say shit like, nah, so we'll stand outside the door and then they'll go in the door and then we'll knock when it was our turn. So I'm like, so y'all just standing in line like dicks
With
out.
boners?
Just like that shit is
That's gotta be weird.
It's weird,
You
bro.
ever do that?
Listen,
Put
hold
him
on.
on the spot.
Hold on. No. But this is it reminds me of my little brother. I never forget. I was I don't know where the fuck I was, but somebody, like, they got something called little hood hoes, you feel me? And everybody was laughing at my little brother's stroke because he ain't never really got no ass before. So he's in line with like 9 homies and they're all hitting the same girl.
Oh hell no! I'm losing my boner. If somebody starts making fun of my stroke,
But
I'm done.
my
No,
little brother gets in there, and I just remember coming back to the block, and everybody's like, your little brother got no stroke, and he's embarrassed because you know what I'm saying. And the bad thing is like, you guys all just hit this
What a way to
same
find
girl,
out.
yeah. But he was little, like he wasn't getting no ass or nothing like that. You feel me? Probably was like 15 or something.
I mean, I just feel like that's a part of your youth that you should have on your own. You really shouldn't have your basketball homies watching you. You know what I'm saying?
figure that shit out on your own.
Yeah,
Do
yo,
it in the lab.
yo,
and
like-
then maybe if you want to take it out to the public at
See,
some
if
point.
I'm first, and everybody go afterwards, then that's different.
Right.
I don't want to like.
But you not the
3 year.
first.
No, I'm just no. I'm just
the first.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If like if all of us are right here, and I'm like, okay, if I know she's gonna fuck us all, okay, I want to hit first because like I don't want to fuck her after you did something with her. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't want to do anything that involves your sweat. No offense. And you're you're a good friend of mine and shit. But if you were like sweaty, like if you were just like, hoofed or if you were just lifted some weights.
But this is like
and you're sitting in
18.
a chair.
This is like 18, you're 17-year-old.
But if you're sitting in the chair and there's a little bit of your sweat on the chair, I'm not sitting in that chair. So the idea that your dirty dick sweat is gonna be all
why shit gotta be dirty?
and you seem like a pretty clean guy. But I'm saying
This how y'all's conversations go.
sometimes we get here.
He said, I don't want you. I ain't even gonna repeat it.
Ironically, I have to go be a dad.
Good.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yes, it's
Was
time.
gonna go to a gangbang, but instead I'm gonna go be a father.
Gang banging.
Yo, I wish that we could play music. That'd be the perfect one to take us out right now.
That's Smokey. Smokey, take it away.
Bro, we should
Sipping that
have
wine.
explained much earlier that Housephone hit me up like 20 minutes before this podcast and said he was sick.
Yeah.
But that Chuck was going to be here anyway. Because otherwise it would have just been me and you talking about butthole sweat.
At least we started
Pause.
off. At least we started off well.
This was.
I was.
I like this. This was dope.
Yeah, it was, the duality of it was amazing.
I think we solved all of society's ills in many ways.
No, we
We talked about racism, prison sex. We talked about everything.
Gangbangs.
Media,
sex,
gangbang,
sex culture.
bang.
What is
Yeah.
this gangbanging?
You don't know the Smokey
You ain't
Robinson
seen
song?
Smokey
Gangbang?
Robinson?
Oh yes, bro. Hey, yo,
tried to
I
stop
let
gangbang.
that shit go in my eye. Pause, and then I literally was like, I ain't see that.
Oh, man.
I ain't
We had
see
a
that
whole
because
day.
I
It's very
see.
amazing.
Did I show you it or did you already know about it?
I showed you that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nah,
No, I knew
because
about it from Twitter, yeah.
I'm just trying to
It went
figure out
viral,
the
man.
conversation before, like did Smokey come up with that,
Yeah, well,
or did his
that's-
No,
his
you
label?
showed me the spoken word version of it.
Yes, that
He went
helps you really understand
He went on
it,
the Def
yeah.
Comedy jam poetry shit, and he did it a cappella, like drinking that wine.
But yeah,
Doing that time.
It's weird
Gangbang.
because
Smokey
this
Robinson
was
was
so
on
early
a
in
Def
like
poetry.
This
Yeah.
was so early in hip hop that it was like, oh, you're like a famous soul singer, but you could still maybe do like a rap song, but we're gonna make it positive.
Did you see,
and it's gonna be
Smokey
for the church
Robinson?
and shit? And it was like it wasn't obvious enough that was a bad idea.
Bless his soul, because I love that man. But Smokey Robinson, somebody paid him to do a cameo.
Oh no!
And it was it was like a Jewish dude that wanted Smokey Robinson to say Happy Hanukkah to his mother, and Smokey Robinson said Happy Chanukah, whatever that means. And I was like, bro. And then he's like, that's cool, Chanukah. He just kept repeating it. I'm like, dog, 2020 is glitching. It's fucking glitching.
When you watch people do the cameos that clearly don't give two fucks, it's amazing.
I did great with cameo.
I imagine you trying, and that's why I'm not interested in seeing it. But with the Smokey Robinson one, sounds amazing.
I hit up Hip Hop Harry for Yazzie.
I know.
That was dope.
Can you imagine Hip Hop Harry just
You talked to
hanging
Hip
out all
Hop
day doing that?
Harry?
You could cop a cameo from him.
You can cop a cameo
And
from
he
him.
tried
I did
to,
it for the show.
He tried to do one with his co-host Yassie, basically like acknowledging that she had sex with him. He's like, he was like trying to have Hip Hop Harry say like, "I really enjoyed the time that we
Me
spent
and Josh
together."
had to edit it like 4 times. It was just like, okay.
Yo,
it was
cameos
on
is a
to us.
dirty game because when I'm talking to Dogface, I realized that he had to stop doing it, or he had to get real careful with how he does it because he would just have businesses trying to get him to do it. And even one time I did a brand deal for these fucking janky ass headphones, right? And it was like on my Snapchat saying like, oh, I love these headphones. These is fire. Go to this address, blah, blah, blah. They made a fucking ad out of it and were running it on Snapchat and Instagram and shit. And I had everybody hit me up for a while. Thankfully, they stopped doing it. But it was like, I got paid like $4,000 to do this ad on my story for this fucking ad or for these headphones, and then they're gonna run that shit on Snapchat for forever. Like, Dogface had those
That's
issues.
crazy, yeah, because they probably use his shit and run a whole another commercial
Yeah,
with
you
it.
pay $100 to get them to give you a shout out, and then this fucking Harry's Weed Lounge is just using, oh yeah, the spot that Dogface sponsors or owns or whatever. It's like, no, he fucking did a cameo one time.
That's actually smart.
Smart, right?
Yo,
But for him, he had to chill.
the Cameo company people, though, they snapped, because how the fuck do you just sit back one day like, yeah, I got it. We gonna have people pay people to just say shit to them.
Yeah.
Like,
I was thinking about paying the office people, like Kevin.
How much is Kevin charging?
I think it was like 500. It's worth it, though.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
He only wants 500.
That's what I said.
I do that shit.
want-
So that's the business model.
I want it to look like Kevin. Like, I want him to put
he
the
talks-
suit on.
he
I want him to be
talks in
sitting
his-
at the
his
desk.
shit.
Oh, that's fire.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, it's crazy how I went from being skeptical to being sold in 2.2 seconds when you were like, oh, you can get motherfuckers from the office to say shit too.
See?
Yo, I bet Debo was on there before he passed.
Man.
I wonder how much he was charging.
Probably.
He just seems like the kind of guy that definitely would have been getting the cameo bag.
Bro, the whole
That's
office
easy.
is cast is on there except fucking Jim, Pam, and Michael Scott. Everybody else is on there.
Really?
Yes.
Steve Carell, what a fucking elitist fuck. He won't be on cameo
I
with the
heard.
people.
I heard they're bringing it back though. I'm happy.
I don't want them to bring it back.
No, not a show. They're bringing they're making a Michael Scott movie. Like his what's his action movie?
Michael Scorn.
Threat Level Midnight like becomes very successful, and the premise of that is to bring like it's a movie. Like they're bringing the Office movie back.
You remember how they had the Flintstones meet the Jetsons?
Yes.
What if they did like The Office meets Seinfeld?
I think it's too late for that.
The Office meets 30 Rock.
That would be easier. I don't feel
never
like
seen 30 Rock.
Seinfeld's
Me
jokes.
neither.
I
Just
feel
seems
like
like it
I
would
feel
make
like
sense.
Seinfeld.
The Office meets Atlanta.
That'd be crazy.
The Office meets Friday. That's what this office is like when you pull up.
The Office meets Friday.
That's what No Jumper is now. when the Office meets Friday.
Damn.
Yeah, I came over here and bought some different
Some
tactic,
flavor.
some sprinkling.
Some blammies.
It's a lot of more blammies around now.
Damn,
I gotta go be a dad.
Hey, full
we
circle
out.
to the Blammy pack.
Hey, this is a good one.
Yeah, man.
Shout out Chuck English, man. I think we solved all society's ills. Yo, but if the world had its head on straight, then this would be just as big as that clubhouse. But because nobody got violated, probably not.
Well, watch my shit tomorrow. Fuck
Yes. Who's coming through?
it. True Car, man.
There we go.
Shout out to Whack 100.
Let's go.
We out here.